Welcome to Polar Park. It's the Cape Cod Classic. The Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen as they come from across the bridge. Well, at least one of them, as we welcome you to it here today, along with Joe Weil, Cooper Boardman. Glad you guys are with us. And on a night where we are kind of ushering the rain away, we will have Cape Cod Baseball League baseball right here at Polar Park. And Joe, you and I have had the experience. We both worked in this league for us years ago, but we have seen how this ballpark has embraced the Cape League, and we expect to do it again here tonight on a Monday night in July.
Yeah, and it's great to have these two teams here. In Wareham, a team that didn't make the Cape Cod League playoffs, but Bourne, a team that will be in the Cape League playoffs. That being said, there's still a ton of talent here, and that's what makes this league just so special, right? The fact that you see the best of the best in college baseball get a chance to play here this summer. So it should be a fun showcase of talent here on the field.
You and I both have the experience firsthand, and we'll see it here tonight, both with the Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves and the 10 teams really across the Cape Cod Baseball League. You know, these are the teams, and you look at Wareham from this perspective, you know, what we are going to sit here and watch tonight in a AAA ballpark is what we watch every single night in a AAA ballpark, future major leaguers.
Yeah, and what's coming back for me right now is the fact that Bobby Dahlbeck was actually a guy I saw in my year broadcasting in the Cape League in 2015, and obviously he's done tremendous things here at Polar Park this season and in years past. But you just look at the alumni right here for the Bourne Braves. Like Pete Alonso, another guy I saw in my year, and obviously he's gone on to do fantastic things in Major League Baseball. Our buddy Lou Merlone on the WEI broadcast that you and I get to do with the Red Sox. Of course, the guy that played here with the Braves as well, Travis Shaw, a former Red Sox, that had spent some time with the Braves. It is so cool, the history of this league, and you go just team by team. There are so many notable names, you know, within their organization's history. That makes it so fun.
Let's get the people set up on kind of what we're going to see here today at the Cape Cod Classic here at Polar Park. Again, the Wareham Gatemen and Bourne Braves going at it here on a Monday night. You know, one of the most unique things is that this is an opportunity for all these guys, you know, who play at the collegiate level, and many of them will be drafted. Many of them will be major leaguers. They say 1 in 3 will end up in the major leagues in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And I think this is kind of a show yourself kind of summer. It's you get the wood bat in your hand for the very first time, and you figure out if you can cut it against the best guys in the world, really.
Yeah, and that's what makes it just so much fun to watch, right? Is you're getting a chance to look at some players before they become final products at the big league level, but you see the talent, right? This is a showcase. I think you put it perfectly. A showcase for them to, you know, put their talents on display for scouts that come to see these games, and then who knows, maybe they could be a Hall of Famer in due time, as the names you see right there. It's what makes it so cool and so special, and it's just the beginning of their trajectories onto superstardom or just a big league career in general. But you mentioned some of the names. Over 350 active players from the Cape League are in the majors right now, and then more than 1,600 all time have gone from this league onto the big leagues. It's a showcase, and throughout the test of time, with all collegiate wood bat leagues, this is the place to play. No doubt.
And it's an extraordinary thing from the 1920s and 30s and 40s and 50s. And you're talking about Pie Traynor on that graphic, and then you're talking about, you know, Spencer Torkelson, the #1 overall pick in 2020, what we've seen over the last couple of years. It's an extraordinary thing, and we're, again, privileged and excited to see the Wareham Gatemen and Bourne Braves tonight. And then this portion of the summer, and again, you and I have both lived this here. It's July 31st. The postseason is looming. And so these are two teams, in Bourne's perspective, that is really very close to their playoff appearance. Wareham is not going to be in the postseason, but this is that last little breath. There are some guys that have made their names, and we'll get to them as we kind of go throughout the night in terms of major league draft pick status. And now with a lot of the roster turnover that happens in this league at this juncture, there are a lot of guys that are fighting their way to get on scouts' radar.
Yeah, and there's actually some guys, too, that you will see in this game that may have not even started the year in the Cape League, but were brought back because they have to fill out the roster for the rest of the year. That's, again, another reason this league is pretty special, is that there is a lot of roster turnover, but a lot of guys getting a chance to see some time in this league. And then when you're in this league, it does help you moving forward to say, hey, I played in the Cape League in the 2023 summer. But there are a lot of really talented guys on both sides that I think have pretty bright futures ahead within the game of baseball once they get to the pros, and could be future big leaguers, and hey, we're just seeing them at this stage.
It was great fun to watch these guys have the experience and walk into this ballpark earlier today. They were warming up on the concourse when they first got in here, but literally watching them walk into a ballpark that they all hope that they will play in one day. There's some guys from the area getting their opportunity. There's some collegiate guys, including UConn Husky and a few others like that are getting the opportunity here in this league. And so we will see tonight as the Gatemen and the Bourne Braves take Polar Park on what has turned into a lovely night. The hope is we will start on time. Perhaps we'll be fighting through a little bit of rain early on, but right now, the rainbow is out, and baseball is coming up. When we come back, we've got Cam Manna, we've got Aiden Blanc, we've got the voices of a couple of the teams tonight as they take us inside right here on NESN Plus.
Welcome back to NESN Plus coverage of Cape Cod League Baseball. It is Wareham versus Bourne today. Joe Weil with you from Polar Park. And we have two special guests with us, the play-by-play broadcasters on both sides of today's game. Cam Manna of the Bourne Braves and Aiden Blanc of the Wareham Gatemen. And guys, we'll just start off with what you both have been able to watch this season. What are the storylines of both of your guys' years with both the teams you guys cover?
I think a lot of ups and downs, and I think that's the beauty of summer baseball, especially on the Cape. Bourne started out with kind of a slower feel with their team before the permanent guys rolled around, but the first 2 weeks of July, they really heated up. A guy, Derek Bender, who you'll talk about a lot on the broadcast, batting close to 400 right now. Caden Bodine, who just left, both guys from Coastal Carolina. They kind of jolted the team. They played very well throughout that, and then now towards the back half of July, before the whole playoffs come around, I think you and Cooper know it very well. The teams start to change. You have to bring a lot of new guys in and work that out. But I think that's what it is. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of good, a lot of bad. But it's been baseball in the Cape.
Yeah, Bender is a guy that actually leads all of the Cape League in average right now, hitting 385. And I know you guys, the Wareham Gatemen, they're not going to make the playoffs, but that doesn't mean that there haven't been some fun and interesting headlines from the year.
Yeah, well, the big storyline coming in was it's year one of Ryan Smythe. Comes over from Brewster, brings almost brand new head coaches. It is a terrific setup that he has brought to Wareham. And it's been because of Bobby Bozer. He's been here since day one of the last remaining day one guys. As you guys know, it's so rare to see someone stay the entire summer, and he has been hitting like crazy. He leads the league in walks, hit a big 2-run home run last night that was the difference maker. Expect him to do big things tonight. Top of the lineup, maybe in the outfield, potentially in the infield. He's a utility guy, so he's very useful to the team.
Yeah, USF Bull, one of the players that you guys will have a chance to see tonight. So you both have mentioned a couple of the fun players you've been able to cover this season. Give us a couple more names, guys we might see today.
Well, Nick McLean is not with the team anymore, but he was one of my favorites in the beginning of the season. Arizona State Sun Devil. His brother Matt is now potentially going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate in the major leagues, and Nick is expected to be a top first-round draft pick next year. He'll play at ASU in the spring. Big name, not with Wareham anymore, but was with them for a good chunk of the season, was an all-star as well.
And Cam, who do you have?
Bryce Evelyn, the 2022 Cape League MVP on a 12-game hit streak right now. He was batting about 250 in the middle months of July. Now he's up to 360 at the moment. Strong glove, plays all throughout the infield. The guys in the team kind of call him a captain, a leader for this team. So a fun guy to watch, also a leader, and I think that's something that goes under the radar a lot of the times. When you look at the stats, it's also a guy that helps teams win. That's a guy in the clubhouse as a whole, and that is Bryce Evelyn.
All right, let's hit up the starting pitchers that we'll see tonight. Cam, we'll start with you.
Tristan Smith out of Clemson, a guy that could have gone in the first round just a year ago. Pounds the zone, does not walk a lot of guys. Actually, the last time he pitched was against the Gatemen. It was a doubleheader, went 5 innings, didn't allow any hits. So he's a guy that is very, communicates a lot on the mound, but he works very quickly, hard-throwing left-hander, and a guy that you'll definitely see in the upcoming years once again that will be maybe top 3-round guy in the MLB draft.
Yeah, this is a guy that's actually had 2 5-inning performances in which he hasn't allowed a hit within the Cape League this year. All right, let's go to the other side. Aiden, who can we expect for Wareham tonight?
Will Koger is actually one of the last. He's the only one that's still on the roster that was here last season. He's out of Louisville, going to be going into his junior season. Terrific stuff from him. Not so much in his last start. Looking to bounce back from a rocky outing in Orleans in which he gave up 7 earned runs, season high for him. But he's made a very good use in the bullpen. You haven't seen him start too much. It's only his 3rd start of the summer, but he will start again, and he's seen time out of both both areas. Another guy that has been very, very useful in a multitude of areas for the Gatemen.
Is there any, hijinks that your teams have, that they've developed throughout the season that you could share with us? Because I always find it so fun when a baseball team, we've seen it with the Red Sox year in, year out under Alex Cora, will they have something after they hit a home run? Is there something that your team specifically do?
Well, Wareham doesn't necessarily have a huge home run celebration, but their third base coach, their hitting coach, Mike Mobbs, has developed kind of mobisms. He played at Fordham. He was the only one who has coaching experience in Wareham, and he came over and has these little sayings that he likes to say. Bobby Baxman, different sort of stuff, and he came up with guard the gate. There's t-shirts. They may be worn tonight. Who knows? Tonight it's maybe guard the park, but usually it's guard the gate. Don't let any extra wins come into Spillane Field that aren't for Wareham.
All right, let's check on the Bourne side. Is there anything we can watch out for tonight?
Yeah, well, it might be tough to beat that one, but what Bourne does before they take the field each time, they all meet at either first or third base. So tonight will be third base from their third base area, but Bryce Eblin, he kind of started that for the whole infield, the field to come together and talk and then run out as a team. So a little small change that they've had, but nothing like really defending the gate at Spillane Field.
Yeah, and when it comes to the Cape League, I was fortunate enough to broadcast in this league. Cooper Boardman also has had a chance to broadcast in this league before. What's the experience been like for you guys? It's not just about the players; it's about you guys. With what your futures hold moving forward. What's it been like to cover this prestigious league?
Well, you're waking up and you're calling Cape League baseball all the time. I think that's the dream as a sports broadcaster, and the repetition of always being on the Cape, seeing all these different teams. It's like, you wake up after the game, it's like a Monday morning, but at night when you're calling the game, it's like a rock concert. It's a Friday night on the Cape. So I think that's the beauty of baseball as a whole. But to be on the Cape with the Premier League, it's just it's an amazing experience.
And Aiden, for you?
Well, not all of us have the pleasure of getting to interview Tom Holliday every day like Cooper, but we get to interact with so many amazing guys. The Stars of Tomorrow in Wareham. It's such an amazing organization, and it's kind of cool. It's my first year on the Cape. It's Ryan Smythe's first year as a manager, so kind of cool to see him grow up as a manager in this league.
Yeah, it's such a great league to cover. We're so thankful to be doing the game tonight on NESN Plus, and congrats to both of you. We're right at the end of the regular season. I know it's a fun experience, and have fun of the call tonight here at Polar Park.
We appreciate it. Thanks
so much.
All right, Cam Manna, Aiden Blanc, they have the call today for Wareham versus Bourne. We'll have starting lineups and first pitch coming up right after this on NESN Plus.
Back live today at Polar Park, we have the Cape Cod Classic between the Wareham Gatemen and Bourne Braves coming on up on what is a lovely night, and we promise it will stay that way here in Worcester today, along with Joe Weil. Cooper Boardman, welcome to the booth, and we're going to start a rain delay today. Obviously, you just saw Polar Park. There was no rain coming down. We're just being a little bit extra cautious. There was, and actually still is, a rainbow, and so for the moment, we're just going to start just a little bit late, but the expectation, Joe, is we'll have baseball starting at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and we can't wait. And yes, it's a little bit of a delay. Well, a little bit of a wait. We're just trying to make sure things are good here. But as you said, the rainbow's out. Baseball is to come here at Polar Park. The players stretching, getting ready for the Cape Cod Classic as we get set here between Wareham and Bourne.
We promise we will make it worth the wait as Wareham and Bourne go at it in the Cape Cod Classic. We're going to go to Jason Veritek, little My Story, former Hyannis Met, and then we'll have some baseball for you. 7 o'clock between the Gatemen and the Braves here in Worcester.
Or the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Final bars of our national anthem tonight as the Wareham Gatemen and Bourne Braves just slightly delayed. Get ready for baseball here from Polar Park. Once again, it is the Cape Cod Classic, and once again, we're back with you along with Joe Weil, Cooper Boardman, our entire Woo Sox crew. Big thank you to them. Sticking through the rain delay that wasn't. A little bit of rainbow action as well. And these guys right here who had stars in their eyes when they walked into this ballpark earlier on today are getting ready to take the field. The Gatemen 15-24-2, the Braves 20-20-1 in the final couple of moments of the 2023 Cape Cod League season, where the Stars of Tomorrow shine tonight. Joe Weil, we have had our eye on this date for a long while. that when Cape League baseball comes to Worcester, Massachusetts, comes to minor league baseball stadiums, and comes to the professional level, certainly it's a big thing. They've done it certainly down in Hartford. They've done it here. These guys get a chance to go to Fenway Park, but tonight does feel a little bit extra special.
Yeah, it's extremely special, and especially for these players, too, to get this experience to play at a premier AAA facility. I mean, this ballpark is absolutely beautiful, and it's quite an experience for these players to kind of get this experience under their belts. Obviously, they're continuing their college careers, but soon they'll want to jump into the pros, have a chance to play at a place like this. But what an atmosphere, what a place for these stars of tomorrow to shine today.
When this beautiful ballpark was built, this was the dream. It wouldn't just be AAA ball, it would be for everybody in Massachusetts, and it is once again here today. The Bourne Braves, one of the better offenses in this league at exactly 500. Lineup like this: Jonathan Vastine out of Vanderbilt, one of 3 Cape League All-Stars in the lineup today. Bryce Eblin from Alabama in the 3 spot, also an All-Star, along with Derek Bender out of Coastal Carolina. Those guys having great summers. And you know, offensively really, Joe, and you and I know this having worked in the league, this is a huge adjustment for those kinds of hitters, using the wood bat, getting that opportunity, and trying tonight on Bourne's side to solve another Cape League All-Star out of Louisville. It's Will Coger.
Yeah, and you hit on it, right? This is a league that's hard for players to make the adjustment to from college, to it, right? Because you go from the metal bat to wooden bat, and yet there are players in this Bourne lineup that have been great really all summer long. Derek Bender's one of those guys, hitting .385, best average in the Cape League. He also has a .458 on base percentage. He's been tremendous. He was also the Cape League All-Star Game MVP, one of 2. So one of the top guys this year that we've seen in this circuit, so it will be fun to watch.
Here's how they line up defensively for Wareham. An outfield of Stevenson, Boser, and Brennan. Stevenson also out of Louisville, backing up his Cardinal teammate there. Coger on the mound. His catcher is Yadi Hernandez for the Wareham Gatemen tonight. They are eliminated from postseason contention in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and doesn't mean the games aren't competitive. It also doesn't mean that for each and every one of those guys, that includes over at third base Doran Gonzalez, and at short Justin Colon, these guys are playing their way into draft possibility, draft conversation. There are scouts in the house tonight, as there are in every Cape Cod Baseball League game. And on a night where the lights shine down just a little bit brighter than they usually do, and usually they're pretty darn bright in the best summer collegiate league in the country, we will see exactly what these 2 teams have in store for us here tonight. The Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves on a Monday night here at Polar Park. Just finished up an awesome homestand for the Worcester Red Sox. They are on the road, back in action tomorrow night in Syracuse against the New York Mets affiliate. But baseball never seems to sleep right around here. The fan bases from both sides in the house as we get ready for baseball. Will Coger, Jonathan Vastine, first pitch tonight, and off we go here in the Cape Cod Classic 2023. These 2 teams played each of the last couple of years, had a great game last year, came down to the final inning, and I'd expect tonight we'll see something similar. Vastine out of Vanderbilt, shortstop, an all-star for this Bourne Braves team. Again, 3 all-stars in the top 4 of their lineup in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And this is not a Major League Baseball fan vote kind of deal. It's not the NBA where, it just kind of seems random sometimes. To be Cape League All-Star is a really big deal.
No, without a doubt. And it's just another point of validation for these players. Again, it's you're on the Cape League, that's already one bit of validation just to get to this league. But then to be an All-Star, you carry that with you for the rest of your life.
And the count, an early 3-1 start from the right-hander Will Coger out of Louisville.
And it's no surprise to see a player from Vanderbilt play in this league. I mean, Vanderbilt, year in, year out, that has been one that has produced a lot of great players, guys that have started the big leagues. As the bat goes flying there. Maybe a little overeager on the swing.
What'd we say? These guys are adjusting
Yeah.
to the wood bats for the first time. Make sure maybe we can get a little bit more pine tar on that baby from Jonathan Vastine out of Vanderbilt. One, of course, the great programs, really the great program in college baseball under New Hampshire native Tim Corbin. They play Sweet Caroline. They have themselves a green monster down there at Vandy. And Vastine is one of the latest as a sophomore in a long line of guys that you maybe haven't seen an extraordinary amount of time. Not that he didn't play plenty over a couple of seasons, 92 games at Vanderbilt, but so often in these high-level programs, and Vandy is a great example of it, there are guys on these rosters that don't play a lot in their collegiate season and come and have wonderful Cape League years.
Yeah, it's a chance to just get more playing time.
First K of the day for Will Koger. He K's Jonathan Vastine, but you're absolutely right. It's a chance to see a little bit more. Koger's a good example of that. Been a reliever, been a starter, and cooking on the Cape.
Yeah, good pitch there on the outside corner. Was able to blow it past Vastine. Got a little foul tip. Good job by Hernandez to squeeze it for the first out.
And a good start for Koger. Right-hander, only out of the stretch. Jonathan Kuroda-Grauer, second baseman from Rutgers, pulls the bunt back, hitting 189 to this point on the Cape League season. Hasn't been here the whole year.
It's the sixth time these two teams have already met up this year. Wareham leads the series 3-2. They played a doubleheader back on July 24th. Bourne won game 1 of that doubleheader 7-1, but then Gatemen come back, win 7-0 in game 2.
Interesting. These are two teams that know each other very well in the Cape League's Western Division. And there they are. I mean, you see the defense is so interesting. We see it here at the AAA games where the guys are all the way back, guarding against the extra base hit. That's hard hit off the bat of Grauer. Race to first. It is won by the Wareham Gatemen and Will Koger. Louisville Cardinal on a nice play on the knockdown by Grant Sherrod. 2 up and 2 down here in the first.
Yeah, it was actually well executed there by the Gatemen. That was a hard hit ball at first base. Sherrod doing a nice job knocking it down, and then Koger getting over to cover the bag. The fundamentals, nice to see. Even though that wasn't a clean fielding play there for Sherrod, he was able to at least knock it down.
Two down for Koger. Trying to work a 1-2-3 first inning as we open up the Cape Cod Classic here at Polar Park. Delivers to Bryce Eblin, third baseman out of the University of Alabama. Another Cape League All-Star in his own right. Trying to become the latest in a long line of Alabama Crimson Tide to get to the big leagues. List that includes David Robertson, Alex Avila, Spencer Turnbull, along with a number of others. 68 players in the history of the University of Alabama that have made their way to Major League Baseball.
When you think of Alabama, you think of football, right? You don't think of baseball right off the top, but yet it's still a pretty prestigious program that's obviously sent a lot of players to the big leagues. Neblin's had a great summer for Bourne, 352 average.
And a great looking helmet to boot. Chased the 2-1, now it's 2-2. Alabama just underwent one of the biggest probably the biggest shock wave of any in college baseball this year. Rob Vaughn from Maryland, after doing such a wonderful job taking them deep in NCAA postseason runs over the last 4 or 5 years, on his way to Alabama. Nobody on and a couple of men down. Looking for a 1-2-3 for Koger. 2-2 pitch. And he gets there. 2 Ks of the first inning. And a lovely start for the Gatemen here in the top of the first. We're kicking off a fun night here at Polar Park. We'll have broadcasters. We'll have baseball for you tonight. Scoreless top of the first inning for Wareham, and now they come to bat for the first time as the home team of the Cape Cod Classic today at Polar Park in Worcester. Gatemen 15-24-2. They got some speed up top. Justin Colon, the Missouri Tiger, ready to run. Garen Caulfield out of the University of Arizona hitting well above 300, along with Jimmy Brennan out of Post University down towards the bottom for a Gateman team trying to find a little bit of offense here on a Monday night. Again, coming in now below 500 and eliminated from postseason contention. as they go against a left-hander in what is a proven kind of start. He's gone 18 innings on the Cape. You see the numbers for the left-hander Tristan Smith out of Clemson, who in his springtime saw time as a starter, a reliever, a closer. They instilled a ton of trust in that great ACC program at Clemson as a freshman. He has taken it into the momentum here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the men behind him that'll try to back him up, led by the Vanderbilt shortstop Jonathan Vastine on the infield with Contreras at first out of Arizona State, and a good-looking outfield led by Gage Harrelson out of Texas Tech. As Justin Colon out of Mizzou, right-hand hitting shortstop, leads it off for Wareham.
And Smith with 43 strikeouts in 31 2/3 innings for the Clemson Tigers this past year. Nice job by Eric Bakich. First year at the helm was at Michigan before he came over to Clemson, led the Wolverines to the National Championship Series, the College World Series Championship Series. Ended up losing to Vanderbilt.
One of the best college baseball venues I've ever seen, Clemson. Got a great grandstand out there, and then they kind of do a whole tailgate setup on the first and third base sides. Clemson University. One of the great college towns in America. Cologne takes outside for ball 4. And shortstop out of Mizzou, who can run quite a bit, is on to lead it off on a 4-pitch walk.
And Clemson came to play at Boston College this year, had a chance to call that series, and the fans really showed out. It is it's a program rich in fans' tradition, really, in every sport. And Smith, a guy that I think they'll want to rely upon moving forward. The stuff is there. It's about location. He did have 25 walks in 31 2/3 innings with the Tigers this year.
And he's thrown 5 pitches, none of them really particularly close to the zone. With Colon on first base, he's stolen 4 out of 6, as Bourne wants to talk about it with Garen Caulfield in the box. You look at the anatomy of these teams and the way that this is kind of all comes together. You've got the big guys, right? You've got Mizzou in the SEC. You've got Caulfield here out of the University of Arizona. Smith from Clemson in the ACC. But one of the great joys of the Cape League, and you and I know this very well, is you can find greatness from anywhere. That includes Jimmy Brennan out of Post University. You know, guys from just different sects of the entirety of college baseball. And, you know, the reality is if you can get a wood bat in your hand and get out here, you can play.
I'll tell you, the best player I saw in my year in 2015, Kyle Lewis, who played for Mercer, right? You know, when you think of the best collegiate baseball teams, Mercer's not the first name that comes to mind.
Duke.
Yeah, right. But you don't think of baseball.
No.
So, yet he was the best player, I thought, by far, my year. And, you know, he ends up winning Rookie of the Year when he gets drafted by the Mariners.
There's a strike. Mound meeting gets its job done.
You know, I will not say I am a scout or a super scout. I could tell you Kyle Lewis was going to be good, though.
Just a little bit of common sense.
Right.
2 eyeballs and common sense. Now it's 3-1, and Tristan Smith, left-hander from Clemson, just continues to miss arm side here in this first inning. Is a ball away from walking the first 2 men on and trying to get the Gatemen rolling in the bottom half of the first inning. See if Caulfield wants to maybe wail on one. Well, not on that. And the first 2 have reached on back-to-back walks here in the first.
So 9 pitches, 8 out of the zone. Smith's had some good outings this year. 2 separate 5-inning hitless outings during his time with the Cape. 5 games, appeared in 4 starts, 2.00 ERA coming in, and he actually did a nice job limiting the walks prior to this outing. Just 7 walks in 18 innings pitched with 26 strikeouts, but he is missing the zone right now, and now it's Sherrod stepping to the plate. You mentioned this off the top. Wareham has struggled to score this year. Now they come into this game average-wise tied for 9th in the Cape League out of 10 teams. On-base percentage 10th. You know, slugging percentage tied for 8th. OPS tied for 9th. But set up right now, first and second, nobody out.
There's Bourne pitching coach Kevin Curtin. He's at MIT. Let him go 9 pitches, but the last one far too high. And now you get Grant Sherrod out of SC Upstate. Big right-hand power bat. This is a man that looks like he could test the limits of this ballpark early in the game with 2 on and nobody out. And a good-looking strike from Tristan Smith. Popped the mid at 91 miles an hour.
A little power versus power right now. Now Smith, he hasn't been able to locate, but you can see the power fastball.
It goes up 0-2 on Sherrod, that time at 82 miles an hour. Came back with the changeup.
He's talking about the different types of schools players come from. Sherrod coming from the University of South Carolina Upstate.
Hit 15 home runs for the Spartans last year, and that time he is beaten 92 miles an hour with a little bit of run. And Tristan Smith dials it in the third man he faces.
So here he comes inner half, just blows it by him. That's a good pitch there from Smith. He's going to be an arm to watch in the ACC for years to come.
It's a fastball league. Not that every league isn't a fastball league. You got to command the heater to be good. As Grant Hussey steps in. That's a slider for a strike. Oh, baby. The mound meeting has done wonders for Tristan Smith. And when I say it's a fastball league, you tell me if you agree with this, having worked in it and lived in it, is that if you've got a good power fastball that you can command, no matter who you are as a pitcher, with these guys learning the wood bats, it's just hard to hit. You know, one's popped up. First in play of the day, Eblin out of ballpark.
I would agree with that, and I think because a lot of times when these pitchers, when they actually join a professional team, that's when you see them learn the secondary stuff. Because before they get to that point, a lot of times if you have a power fastball, you can rely upon it in high school and in college. You can beat batters that way. But of course, when you get to the pros, it's about adding the extra stuff, because any hitter in Major League Baseball can hit 100 miles an hour.
So after 2 walks, he goes 0-2, and now he goes 0-3. 2 walks, a conversation, and nerves of steel since. Back-to-back Ks for Tristan Smith, and he's an out away from slipping out of this in the first.
Goes back, high fastball again, bam. Just good stuff there from Smith. So he gets himself in trouble. Back-to-back walks, 9 pitches, but you just said it there. The mound visit has really done wonders for him. Back-to-back strikeouts.
And now another Cape League All-Star, Bobby Boser, out of South Florida, and a first pitch changeup. How about spotting the change on the inside quarter for the second time against the Cape League All-Star? Did it against Caulfield and does it here against Hussey. Oh, 0-2.
Goes back to the fastball this time, up and away.
Just let me get this right. So he walked the first 2 guys on 9 pitches, and since then, he has thrown 8 consecutive strikes. He's a strike away from an immaculate inning if you started it after the second batter. Tristan Smith.
This game of baseball.
Sure. Can he throw a, well, not particularly immaculate, but just fine. Missed high with the fastball.
That's a good pitch, though. Up and in, just barely missed. 93 on the gun. Yeah, this is well spotted, 0-2. See if you can get him to chase. And you see Bender trying to frame it there at the end.
1-2, fisted out, first base side. Easy grab for New Contratus. And Tristan Smith made it as hard as possible, but does get out of it. We're through 1. No score just yet in the Cape Cod Classic at Polar Park.
Welcome back to Polar Park. No score between the Bourne Braves and Wareham Gatemen. Joe Weil with you. Cooper Boardman alongside. There is a long list of notable Red Sox alumni that have played for the Bourne Braves, past and present on the list. Present, of course, Connor Wong, but a lot of guys that have had great careers with the Red Sox that before they got there, they played with the Braves.
The spirit of Polar Park here, you got some Paw Sox and Woo Sox on that list. We said Connor Wong.
Here's Derek Bender first up here in the top of the second inning against Will Koger. Right on right, first pitch, and it ends up clipping Bender. So that's the first base runner of the night for the Braves. And Bender, a guy that came into today with the best batting average in the Cape League. He was the Cape League All-Star Game MVP. Star at Coastal Carolina, doesn't have to swing the bat to get on base.
No, he does not. Fastball. We've seen the wonderful run on the two-seamer from Coger to this point for Louisville, and certainly for Wareham in the Cape League as well. That one just had a little bit too much run to it.
Here's Kendall Diggs, the right fielder today for Bourne. Fastball just outside. Diggs plays for the Razorbacks, a Kansas native. But that list of former Braves that have played and gone on to play for the Red Sox. Mitch Moreland, hey, he did some big things for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I heard about him.
Chopper to the right side, backhanded by Sherrod. He goes to second, but it's dropped by Cologne. Everybody's safe. So a hit by pitch, fielder's choice, E6, first and second, nobody out.
Yeah, this is a really nice play by Sherrod moving right, because this was hard hit. It takes the hop into his mid, but you know, he had to take a nice couple of steps with some good runners going. Look at that snare, and he makes a good throw, and we saw Cologne on the zoom in right afterwards saying, my bad, my bad. And that was one. You know, it actually ended up kind of underneath his glove, and I think he was trying to start the transfer before he had the baseball. And it's just a rare mistake for Cologne, who's usually so sure-handed for Mizzou and for the Gatemen.
Here's New Contradas. He bounces it to first. Another chance for a double play ball. They get the out at second, throw to first, not in time. So Diggs out at second, Bender to third.
I was watching the shortstop Cologne coming over. Like, he looked like he wanted redemption at it. Another fastball away. It seems like some early swings right now for Bourne. And again, it's been really impressive. We're talking about Sherrod as a guy who hit, you know, double-digit home runs for South Carolina Upstate, but he can move a little bit for a guy his size. Two nice plays, and his buddy Cologne backs him up this time.
He made a nice play in the first inning, too, off the bat of Kuroda Grauer. He knocked it down with his body, kept it in front. It ended up being a 3-1 ground out. Here's Garrett Michelle, very talented player, not only on this Braves team, but with Virginia Tech last year. He was a freshman All-American according to Collegiate Baseball newspaper. He had an OPS above 1,000 in his freshman year with the Hokies. Throw to first, and Contradas gets back in.
One of the great celebrations in all of college baseball. Virginia Tech on the home run, the big hammer that they take out. I believe, you know, the NCAA, another quick check there, the NCAA cracked down a little bit on it, but for the time that it was, the Thor hammer was one of the best in all of baseball.
And see, I'm of the belief you have to let that stuff
fly.
fly.
Yeah, get over yourself. I completely agree.
Another check at first, picked up by Sherrod again. So we see the nice defense from the product of the University of South Carolina Upstate.
Yeah, you know, you're playing on a completely different surface as well. I was just thinking about that. You know, Wareham has the very famous stone dust infield. The dimensions are different in that there's a lot more foul territory here.
Swing and a miss, 1-1.
I think about Doran Park, and that's one where the dimensions to the outfield are a little bit smaller than we're used to seeing here in the Cape League. So 399 to left center is I think more than just about any ballpark in the league outside of Eldridge Park in Orleans.
1-1. Rip back, count at 1-2. I heard you talking to the broadcasters we have on both sides about if they've experienced the fog in Chatham, which I know you dealt with during your time there.
Oh, baby. Where the warm water meets the cold water on the elbow of Cape Cod, and where you can't drive home on certain nights.
You'd hear people talk about it, but it's one thing to experience it for yourself. And you say, oh, there it is. As Michelle takes one outside, count at 2-2.
I said this in 2018, the first year I was in Chatham. The fog rolled in more than, and I can't remember the exact number, but double-digit times in a 44-game season. We were fogged out.
Can't say that in the big leagues.
No.
Counts at 2-2 on Michelle, designated hitter today. And he bounces it up the middle, backhanded by the second baseman Caulfield. He goes to second. They don't even get the out there. It pulls Cologne off the bag. Bender comes in to score, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead in the second.
Well, it's another outstanding play up the middle, this time by Caulfield. I mean, that's a long way to range for the Wareham second baseman on a ball that seemed like its destiny was going to be center field. I mean, look at that. Nice little backhand pickup, and yeah, you're right. That's exactly what happened there. Cologne just got all turned around. It's the second time this inning where he's just not quite been sure around second base.
Yeah, it looked like he had 1 foot on the bag, and then as the throw came in, the shovel there from Caulfield, he took the foot off the bag, tried to put the other one on it, and it ends up being a safe call at second. So 2 on, 1 out. Here's Gage Harrelson, Texas Tech University product. Hit .324 in his first year with Texas Tech. Coger at 25 pitches, 26 comes home, bunt shown, and it's outside. So the Louisville product has given up a run. Not really his fault, though. Some tough defensive plays, you know, ones that probably should have been made but weren't.
Well, you see this in the Cape League a lot. You know, it's a league known for being the best in the world at this age group.
There's a fastball that's dotted on the inside corner at 93.
But, you know, oftentimes, you know, these are guys that are getting opportunities in positions maybe they don't play a lot in the spring, or you've got guys that have not played a lot in their spring season. You're right about that pitch. And so, you know, as a pitcher, sometimes the defense is perhaps a little less than sturdy behind you.
1-2. Lined up the middle. That's a base hit. Contreras held up at third. The throw comes in from Bozer. So the bases are loaded with 1 out here for the Braves. A chance to bust the game wide open here in the second. And now it's Sam Peterson who will step in.
Hardest contact of the day, no question about it to this point. A resounding crack into center field. And honestly, from the Wareham side of it, lucky it got hit as hard as it did. Good job by Harrelson of the swing, and a good job by Boser in center of just understanding he could hold up a moment, make a strong throw. But you're in a spot here where ground ball still gets you out of it.
And now we'll deal with Peterson, the Iowa Hawkeye. He had a good season with the Hawkeyes. He was a first-team All-Big Ten member this past year, first-team member. Led the team in stolen bases. Up at a big spot, bases loaded, 1 out. Swing and a foul tip, went to the fastball. He's able to get it by him, counting 0-1.
High four-seamers really worked for him. Good ride on that, good carry at 92.
Bourne, a team right now, they're in 4th place in the West Division in the Cape League. Heard Cooper say it before, 20-20-1 coming into today. So the regular season's winding down here. Yet they're a team that won it all last year. They made the final the year prior, and all it takes is just getting in. Have a chance to repeat. 1-1. Outside corner strike. Another good fastball there from Coger.
Hey, you'd say too on the getting in thing is oftentimes, I don't know if this was your experience, but oftentimes the team that is the best in the regular season is not usually the team that wins the Cape League Championship Series for whatever reason.
Good breaking pitch that's just outside. And to that point, my year 2015, YD, a team that just snuck in, ends up winning it all. And I think they won 3 in a row from 14 to 16.
Well, I think too it's about getting your guys to buy in. It's a long summer, especially at this time of year.
That's low and away. It gets away from the catcher Hernandez. Contreras crosses home. Both runners behind him move up. Now it's 2-0 Bourne.
Yeah, whether this is a wild pitch or a pass ball by the final determination of the official score, it's a pulled ball, right? Just kind of ended up trying to throw the breaking ball and spin it off the outside corner, and instead it was just never near the outside corner. Thought Bender did everything he could trying to get over there.
So
this is what happens.
Infield playing in now. 3-2. Punch foul behind home. We'll do it again. How about your year? So I know 2018, 2019.
Yeah, we were in the Cape League Championship Series in Chatham in 2018 for the first time in nearly a couple of decades. that time around. That was so much fun. Oh my goodness. Wareham was best team all year, and they won the Cape League Championship Series. Andrew Vaughn was on that team. Of course, would go on and be outstanding. But, you know, I think when you look at it over the last few years, it's really about buy-in, right? Bourne and Brewster, those have been the two teams that have been the class of this league over the last couple of years in the playoff perspective. You know, it's a long summer. You played your spring season. You played 44 regular season games, especially for the guys who are here all summer. You know, it's a lot, and there are guys that, of course, they want to go home at the end of it, especially if they've had, you know, seasons where they've, you know, kind of taken care of it from the scouting perspective.
That's it on the hands. They're going to say a foul ball. May have got the knob of the bat.
But I remember Jamie Shevchik, the Brewster manager, has done an outstanding job the last couple of years of getting his guys to care about the postseason. It's not an easy thing to do in summer ball. And, you know, Bourne, obviously the exact same thing the last couple of years to get to the two championship series that they have.
And it's interesting, a lot of these teams, they end up going through long droughts and then busting through, and sometimes the titles just come one after the other. Good pitch on the outside corner for strike 3. So 2 outs now here in the second inning. 3 strikeouts now for Koger.
Yeah, watch the wait and hope from Peterson. Wait, hope, see ya. That's a nice pitch on the outside corner, to your point.
And just to touch on my previous point about some teams going through droughts, Falmouth Commodores, a team I covered in 2015, they haven't won since 1980.
Wow.
They've had some great seasons. You know, they're a team among the most titles in the Cape League's history, but just a team that, for whatever reason, hasn't won in a bit.
Yeah, Chatham, same deal. 2001, I believe, you know, the last year that they were there prior to 2018.
Jonathan Vastine, the Vanderbilt product, came into the day hitting 300 in the Cape League this year. Struck out in his first at-bat. In on the hands, Pfister to the left side. The shortstop, Cologne, plays it on a bounce. Throw to first, not in time. Another run home for the Braves. It's now 3-0. Infield single for Jonathan Vastine.
Cologne has had some tough defense plays in this inning. This is not one of them. He did an outstanding job of just getting there. Watch him get around this baseball, reading the spin, realizing he's not going to get there in the air, and then just getting rid of it fast. Great dig as well by Sherrod. But you know, the way that Vastine moves as a shortstop at Vandy, we've seen it with his stolen base ability and all this. There was no chance.
Throw to first. Vastine gets back in there safely.
So often in this situation, especially in this league, especially with 3 runs already in, maybe wanting to steal one more, you'll see Vastine go here.
Guy with a lot of speed over there at first base. That pitch in on the hands again. Shortstop Cologne under it on the lip of the grass, makes the catch, inning over. But Bourne strikes with 3 runs on 3 hits. Also had the use of an error on the other side. 3-0 Bourne. We go to the bottom of the second next. Well, Bourne just jumped ahead with 3 runs in the top of the second inning. We're now in the bottom of the second from Polar Park in the Cape Cod Classic. Joe Weil with you, Cooper Boardman alongside. We appreciate you joining us. What has turned into a beautiful Monday evening in Worcester. It was dark clouds above us about 30 minutes before first pitch, and now we have clear skies above.
I was nervous. We even got a rainbow and didn't even have to pay for it with rain. So, you know, but we deserve it. We no doubt deserve it.
Especially with the summer we've had here in Massachusetts. But it's been another great 2023 Cape League season. The regular season winding down. The playoffs set to start very soon, August 4th. Bourne, one of the teams that will be competing in the Cape League playoffs. Dorian Gonzalez first up. He takes a fastball up and in, count at 1-0. Tristan Smith back out on the hill. He was able to rebound in the bottom of the first inning after walking the first 2 batters on 9 combined pitches. Got 2 strikeouts and a pop out. Gonzalez takes one on the outside corner, count at 1-1. Gonzalez, a product of the University of Miami. He has hits in 8 straight starts, 11 for his last 30 in those starts. As he drives one high and deep to right field, digs back to the track. He has just enough room and makes the catch. 1 out.
Oh, baby. Well, at Spillane Field, where it's 330 feet down the right field line, 320 here, you know, those are certainly tee-offable, especially for a guy with the power of Gonzalez. That's one I think all these guys are going to have their eye on that Worcester wall. Can you beat the Worcester wall here tonight?
In steps Jimmy Brennan. He's 5 for 13 with the Gatemen this year. Big swing and a miss, counted 0-1. Brennan's one of the cool stories of this Gatemen team. He started the season actually with the Gatemen, but being a guy that's a Division II guy, wasn't a high priority guy, so he got taken off the roster, and now he's back on it. They needed some players here to ride out the rest of the year, and here is Brennan once again with this Gatemen club. Fastball's just a little low, counted 1-2.
Waterbury, Connecticut post-university. Said as a Connecticut guy myself, and now it's awesome. This is the thing about this league, right? You get an opportunity as a D2, D3, whatever it might be kind of guy. And if you show yourself and show scouts that you're capable of handling it, it changes your life. It changes your career. It changes what they think you could do at the next level.
Battling here with an ACC pitcher in Smith. That is just a little low and in, counted 3-2. Yeah, the manager of the Gatemen, Ryan Smythe, he really liked what he saw in the short time that Brennan was here with this team. He liked his talent, his personality, the potential, so when they needed some bodies, they brought him back. Payoff, popped up. Right side, easy play for Contreras, and he makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down.
We're not quite there yet, but we are not that far off. There's a time of night here at Polar Park, especially in the summer months when you get kind of that haze along with the bright sky, where it is not easy to field fly balls in particular, particularly for outfielders when there's a run to be made to get to the baseball. But remember it wreaking a little bit of havoc in last year's game for these guys that have not yet experienced it.
Yeah, I want to go back to that fly ball that Gonzalez hit, Cooper. It looked like it was going to be one that maybe hit off the wall or it went out, but it is so hard to hit home runs in this league. We've talked about the adjustment these hitters make. There's only one player this season that is at double-digit home runs in this 2023 Cape League season. And it's hard to do. That's got foul out of play right side.
You said when you were in the Cape League in 2015, Bobby Dahlbeck was there. How many home runs did he hit there?
That's a good question. That team, though, that 2015 Orleans team had so much talent on it. Bobby Dahlbeck was one of those guys. Kyle Lewis was on that team. Had a guy in the minors, Alex Call. He was actually pushed to the infield. He's an outfielder with the Nationals. But their outfield was so talented, he had to play second base just to get some playing time. And he ends up being a big leaguer.
In 2018, Andrew Vaughn comes to mind for these Wareham Gatemen.
Strike 3 call outside corner. So 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the second. More Andrew Vaughn talk, more Cape League talk coming up in a moment. Bourne leads over Wareham 3-0 here from Polar Park. We go to the third next here on NESN Plus. Top of the third inning here from Polar Park. Bourne has a 3-0 lead over the Wareham Gatemen. And just like the Braves, the Gatemen with a lot of notable Red Sox alumni. There are MVPs on that list and World Series winners on top of it. It is awesome to see the rich history both these teams have with the Red Sox. And again, it's players that maybe a long time ago, but also more to present day.
Imagine Kyle Schwarber in the W. We saw him in a Woo Sox uniform at one point when he was coming back on the rehab. I'll bet he hit a few out at Spillane.
And he was a guy that was actually on the Gatemen team in 2012 that won the Cape League championship. Here's Bryce Eblin. He rips one into right field for a base hit. He's done a ton of that this summer. Came into the night hitting .352, and he's aboard here in the third inning.
Yeah, I'll say this, the way Koger's throwing the ball, I'm not sure I'm waiting around for pitch number 2 and pitch number 3. You know, if you're going to get that four-seamer up in the zone, and it's a good one, but, you know, if you can kind of know what's coming as the first pitch, you know, opportunity, I go right to it.
How about Eblin, the groove he's in right now? He's now recorded hits in 13 of his last 14 games. So in this stretch, he's now 26 for 54. As that's a wild pitch, allows Eblin to go to second. So Bourne already with a 3-0 lead. They scored all 3 of their runs in the top of the second inning. Now have a runner on second with nobody out against Will Koger. The Louisville product, Kentucky native. He delivers one low, a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Derek Bender up at the plate. Got hit by a pitch his first time up. Chopper to second. Caulfield gobbles up, throws to first in time. 1 out.
It's just been fastballs, and more fastballs from Will Koger. And tell you what, if I had the quality heater he did, I'd be throwing it like this too. This is just a win to the spot. Couldn't get the barrel to it. For a hitter that, when he gets the barrel to it, he can often launch it a very long way. This feels like a really important batter in this game. You just don't want to see 4 on that board at this juncture, I think, if you're Wareham.
And Wareham knows it because they're playing the infield in right now. That's outside for ball 1. Yeah, Bender, who is just up, what a year he's had with this Bourne team. 385 average, a Coastal Carolina star, a program that, just year in, year out, competes, makes the NCAA tournament. 2016, they won the College World Series. And they're at a point now where I think even the players of the past would admit that the teams are more talented than even that 2016 team was. And Bender, one of those players. Good stop behind home plate by Hernandez, counted 2-1.
Yeah, it really has become for them, when it's no longer, this is a program that has a chance to do some things. This is a program that, when you talk about the gold-plated standard in this league, or really in this country, and in their league as well, that they have had such great success.
And they're going to say that ends up hitting Diggs. So runners at the corners now with 1 out. There is no activity in that Wareham bullpen, so this is Koger's inning, at least right now.
Yeah, he's trying to go slider here, and it's not a bad one. Just a little bit too far. And for the second time in this game, now seeing in the last couple of innings, he's just lost control. It's that same pitch though, slider. Although when he's thrown it, in the zone, or at least near the zone, it's been an outstanding pitch for him.
Here's New Contradas up, runners at the corners, 1 out, and that is line foul right side out of play. And we were just talking during the break. You saw Matt McLean play with Wareham during your time here, and he's doing great work with the Reds right now, a team that has surprised a lot of teams in Major League Baseball, competing for the NL Central. His brother, Nick McLean, was actually on this year's Gatemen team. No longer on the team as we wind down the regular season for the Cape League. Bunt shown, pulled back. A little high.
I always love these spots in the Cape League because you've got a situation where you got a pitcher who just doesn't really quite seem to have it, right? Single, gets ground out, it was a good pitch, then he hits a guy. Well, these guys are so talented that all of a sudden he could dial it right back in.
Chopper down the line, foul. Gatemen may have caught a break. That was close to the line. Gonzalez watched that go foul, so the count's at 1-2.
This is a situation where, so can't find it. All of a sudden, he gets a 1-1. He throws a really good breaking ball. And now you're a fastball away, maybe upstairs, or do you double up with it? He just shook twice. I wonder what he shook twice, too. Does he want to throw another slider, or does he want to try to beat him high with the heater?
1-2, goes to the slider. It's fisted down the right field line for a base hit. Eblin comes in to score. Diggs races to third. He's held up. The throw comes towards second. It's an RBI double for New Contradas. So he waits back in the breaking ball, takes it down the right field line, and now the Braves lead 4-0.
I'll bet the catcher, Hernandez, called fastball. He tried to throw the breaking ball, and it just hangs up for Will Koger. That's entirely hittable. It's a great little swing. Saw it up, and oftentimes you'll see somebody just try to rocket it on the pull side, stayed back, stayed back, stayed back, and then just a good punch swing down the right field line.
So nice hit there by the Arizona State University product, a Hawaii native. 1 point won the Hawaii Gatorade Player of the Year award. Here's Garrett Michelle, who rips the first pitch back behind home, counting 0-1. So 4-0 Braves, top of the third inning, and a chance now to add on more. Coger trying to dig deep, get out of this third. Fastball in, counted 1 ball and 1 strike. A couple of ACC products going at one another. Michelle of Virginia Tech, Coger of Louisville. Line foul down the left side, count of 1-2.
He keeps getting ahead. I think that's what's impressive. And I know he's given up a little bit of contact here, and he did have the hit by pitch, but he's been able to come back and throw strikes and get back ahead of the count. And although it's not where you want to be right now, I think long term, more often than not, that's going to help you.
Does have 3 strikeouts today, not in this inning. 1-2, just a bit outside, counted 2-2. That was a close pitch. Pitch count continues to rise here for Coger, up to 56 through 2 1/3 innings. Again, the Gatemen, they're not going to play in the Cape League playoffs, but that's not what it's all about. It's all about getting better. It's all about continuing to develop. That's what this league is for, and also to be a showcase.
Well, that's the thing too, is this is a game where, and I say it from Coger's perspective, but just everybody is. There are scouts in the house tonight. I mean, they're watching, every bit of this, and what you do is absolutely on display at all moments for Coger, for Michelle, and all these guys.
3-2. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. It was dropped by Hernandez, so he completes the out by throw to first. So strikeout number 4 for Coger. And we've talked about it, Cooper. In that second inning, there were a couple of defensive plays that could have been made. So you look at the 3 runs on 3 hits, it doesn't quite tell the full story. There was an error in there. But you see pitches like this, backdoor breaking ball. Hernandez can't catch it. It's a pretty nasty pitch on the outside corner. You see what Louisville sees in having this guy on their roster.
It's a really good example of him showing what he can do, right? Exactly what you just said there, where he throws the breaking ball, and that's the pitch that's hit for a double, but it's also the breaking ball, the pitch that he locked somebody up on. That's been, this to me, and I know he's given up 5 hits. I know he's hit a couple of guys for Coger, but this to me has been a really impressive outing to this point.
0-1. Line foul. We have seen some solid contact from Wareham in this inning specifically. We didn't quite see it in the second, but we've seen some guys hit some balls hard in this top of the third.
Second time through, too. And we talk about this at the AAA and minor league and major league level about second and third time through. Oftentimes they won't get 3 times through at the Cape League level, but the second time you see a guy really does make a difference even here. I'd argue especially here.
0-2, lined foul down the left side. It's another hard hit ball by Harrelson, the 8 batter.
It's the hardest fastball of the day, 93 miles an hour from Coger on his 61st pitch and his 21st of his third inning.
Looking to get out of this third with just 1 run allowed in the frame. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it comes. Swing and a foul tip, and that'll end it. So back-to-back strikeouts for Coger to end the top of the third. He does have 5 Ks through 3 innings, but Bourne tacks on another. 4-0 Braves. We go to the bottom of the third next. Bottom 3 for Polar Park, and the Bourne Braves have a 4-0 lead over the Wareham Gatemen. Joe Weil with you alongside Cooper Boardman. We appreciate you joining us on this Monday evening before the Red Sox get going tonight. They're going to be playing in Seattle. First pitch to Josh Stevenson is swung on and missed, counted 0-1.
Got a good little app for you today. Cape League baseball before the Red Sox.
Tristan Smith in his third inning of work. That fastball's upstairs. He's been really good. 6 straight batters retired after walking the first 2 hitters of the night.
Yeah, doing that on 8 pitches. I mean, he was not close to the zone. He was 8 out of 9 pitches out of the zone, the first 2 batters he faced. And from that point on, he's been dominant.
That's on the inside corner for a strike. Count at 1-2.
Now you watch a big league game especially, and we see this at AAA as well. You know, I really, you don't see a lot of mechanical in-game adjustments. Sometimes you do, obviously.
Weak roller to first. Contreras off the bag, takes it to it himself, and there's 1 out.
But if you can make an in-game mechanical adjustment, these guys are so talented. These are the best college players and pitchers, especially in the country. Well, all of a sudden, you're seeing a ton of strikes, and when he throws this quality of stuff in the zone, there's going to be a lot of contact like this. Low exit velocity on the ground, as now, this is where it gets interesting for me, starting the second trip through the order.
Here's J.C. Cologne. He takes one just a bit outside for ball 1. You know, Cooper, you and I have talked about the long season these guys that are playing in this league have had. How about a guy like Stevenson who just hit? He was on the LSU team that won the College World Series. That ends, and then he joins a team in the Cape League.
Yeah, this is how it is. And every year it's gotten more this way because of the nature, and the schedules change because of COVID, or since COVID, really, initially because of it, where the College World Series gets later and later, and so oftentimes it goes 2 ways. One, you end up playing a lot of baseball and not a lot of time for those guys, and high importance baseball. And then B, the other part of it too is, these teams want those guys to get here. Usually best teams, best players, they're guys that you talk about coming to the Cape League. So, it's nice to see that he's still here.
That's fisted foul first base way. And I think the one, neat thing about the Cape League is that, since even our time in the Cape League, me of 2015, you 2018 and 2019, there have been an addition of a lot of collegiate wood bat leagues with the realignment of minor league baseball. Yet, this is still, the holy grail, as that's ripped into left field for a base hit. J.C. Cologne continuing his strong hitting as of late. He has hits in 8 of his last 9 games now. He's aboard with 1 out.
He fights some fastballs off, waits for the changeup, and it just stays right on up. Easy turn on it, taking it in the left, and just a really intelligent job there. Like, that's a smart hitter kind of situation where the ball stays up, stays back, recognizes that it's not the fastball, and gets back on. I bet we'll see him run at some point.
Caulfield lines it back, counted 0-1. Caulfield of the University of Arizona, Cape Cod League All-Star. Came into today hitting .306 on the year. Runner does not go, and the count is at 0-2. And this is an interesting time in the baseball calendar. The Collegiate Wood Bat Leagues start to wind down. Summer is starting to wind down a bit, as much as we would like it to not. But in some ways, the seasons are ramping up. And speaking of the Major League trade deadline right now, things starting to happen. Swing and a miss, strike 3, snap throw to first, not in time. Cologne gets back in there, but a strikeout for Smith, his 4th of the evening.
Yeah, big time. Whether it be Jacob deGrom or Max Scherzer joining Jacob deGrom's team once again, whether it be Justin Verlander, maybe on the trade block or whatever, all at that level. You're right about it at this point where, the other part for these guys is it's the end of a long summer, but it's the end, and you're not going to be playing competitive baseball. Not that you don't play fall ball in practice and everything, but you're not going to be playing competitive baseball like this, when this season ends.
Here's Grant Sherrod, who's 0-1. He struck out his first time up. And the fastball's still there from Tristan Smith, blazing it in. Chopper back to the mound. Smith jumps up and then soft tosses it to first in time, making it look easy out there. 1 hit through 3 scoreless innings. We go to the 4th. Bourne 4, Wareham nothing. We have a special thing coming for you right after this on NESN Plus. Well, this is a special time in the broadcast. We get to bring in the play-by-play voices of both teams of the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen. We're going to start on the Bourne side with Matt Scalzo of Penn State. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's a beautiful night for baseball and just such a special night for these players, and now it's a special night for me and the other broadcasters as well.
Well, so I was in your place at one point in time. I'm going to cede the floor to you. Take it away.
Thank you. First pitch is low to Sam Peterson. The left fielder is 0 for 1. He struck out looking back in the second. Bourne has started to find its groove here over the last 2 innings. 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and Tristan Smith, he's dealing on the mound. 1-0 is grounded foul. And it's huge for any team when you can lean on a starting pitcher like Smith, especially now that he's found his rhythm and he's kept these Wareham bats quiet.
Yeah, this is an arm that Clemson Tiger fans have to be excited about. A young guy, he throws a blazing fastball, and you know, it looked a little tough for him at the beginning of the game, back-to-back walks to start it off, but he has settled in since then. 4 strikeouts through 3 innings, only 1 hit allowed.
And for Koger as well, he's started to, it's been up and down. He had a good first inning, but here he's had a good at-bat so far to Peterson. Just looking to find his groove. The Wareham bullpen has been quiet so far, not a lot of movement for them. Smith was a guy who was drafted out of high school and chose to forego and head to Clemson, and so far it's been working out for him. 1-2 is outside to Peterson.
Yeah, and Eric Bakich is really building something with that program. And Smith, this is a guy that's going to be a building block for them moving forward. And you could just see it. The talent is there. The 26 strikeouts at 18 innings coming into today. I mean, it is all there for him moving forward. I'm excited to see where his career progresses.
Chopped down the third base side, picked up and fired across the diamond by Gonzalez, and that's the first out as Peterson drops to 0 for 2 tonight. Nice play by Gonzalez on the backhand.
Yeah, good play there by Gonzalez down the line. Man, that's not an easy play. Yeah, he got it off the short hop and then was able to set his feet, throw it to first. Good stretch there from Sherrod.
Now it's back to the top of the order. Jonathan Vastine, the shortstop out of Vanderbilt. He's 1 for 2. Shows bunt. Pulls back and takes the first pitch ball. RBI single in the second inning was an infield single. Saw his speed on full display. Cuts and misses on the fastball from Koger. And Vastine's been a guy for Bourne that's really started to become more of a leader. Just finished up his sophomore season at Vanderbilt. Starting to come into his own here, and he's been voted to have the best bromance on the team with Bryce Eblin as he chops the 1-1 foul.
See, this is why it's so great to have you guys on. You guys have the intel, you know, the scoops on all this stuff.
Yeah, it was a fun little TikTok idea that our social media team came up with. And it was runaway favorites, Jonathan Vastine, Bryce Eblin. 1-2, swing and a miss. Koger with his 6th strikeout, 2 gone in the top of the 4th.
The question I would have is, how do you quantify it? How do you quantify who has the best bromance on the team?
Well, the social media team just asked players on the team, and there was a lot of Ryan Fisher and Pete Giuffreda. Pete's still here. Ryan had his last start yesterday. But there was a lot of Jonathan and Bryce. And then those two came on at the end, and they spoke about why it is. And Bryce said it's just I guess they found a good bond up the middle. They made a nice 1-2 combo. Bryce is at 3rd tonight, but really got along well, and that's, I think, the biggest thing. And one of the beauties in summer baseball is so many guys from across the country come together, and they all just have the common goal of wanting to get better.
Yeah, and you figure that relationship is not just going to end here. It's going to continue to move on.
1-1, hard ground ball. Nice play by Caulfield at second. Fires in time to end the top of the 4th. 1-2-3 for Will Koger. We head to the bottom half. It's 4-0 Bourne, and that will do it for my portion.
Well, a heck of a defensive play ended the top of the 4th inning. Garrett Caulfield diving stop at shallow right. The shades came off. He threw it to first to get out Kuroda Grauer to end the top of the fourth inning. 1-2-3 inning for Will Koger. And now we are joined by another play-by-play broadcaster on both sides. This is what we're going to do for the middle innings. And now we bring in Aiden Blanc of ASU. He joins us now, one of the play-by-play men for the Wareham Gatemen. Aiden, take it away.
Joe, thank you so much. We are in the fourth inning. Grant Hussey, the Huss Bus, leading things off. He's in a 1-1 count. The designated hitter, though he's seen time mainly at first base, he even played in left field at one point this summer. It's the first time he played left field in over a year. Slaps it foul. The count's 1-2. I guess that's kind of the beauty of summer ball. You can mess around a little bit, especially with a team like Wareham, who now they're just closing out the season, trying to have a little bit more fun rather than postseason planning. Hussey cuts and misses. The ball cuts into him. He fouls it away. So the count remains 1-2. There is action in the Wareham bullpen. Will Koger, still the scheduled pitcher. But Ryan Smythe may very well pick up that phone. Next inning. Check the swing. The appeal to first. And our third base umpire, Joe Gravino, says that Hussey stays alive. It counts 2-2. The base is empty. Leadoff hitter in the bottom of the fourth. Pulls one to the right side. Kuroda Grauer. Easy throw from the lip of the grass. First out.
And Tristan Smith, he's really settled in here for Bourne. He's allowed just one hit through 3 1/3 innings. This was some good contact from Hussey, but well defended by the Braves. Kuroda Grauer out in shallow right. Here's Bobby Boster now stepping in. I know he's had a great season for you guys in Wareham this year.
Still leading the league in walks. Ball one into the dirt, 1-0. Bobby and Yadi Hernandez, the two in the starting lineup that have been here since day one. Will Koger on the mound, the other. The right-handed hitter, way back in the box. Takes a strike and the count levels. Boser flew out in his first at bat. The USF Bull. Little dribbler back to the mound. Smith has had a very economical outing so far and gets 2 quick outs here in the last of the fourth.
And this one just off the end of the bat. It goes right to Smith. And he fields his position well, gets off, and very calmly takes it to first base. I thought the story of Boster was so cool that he wanted to play on the Cape League, and then he misses the call that he ends up getting that tells him that he's going to be on the Cape League for the summer.
Low pitch for ball one. He's been a true utility player. Ryan Smythe did say if there's a scenario in which we've clinched the playoffs or are out, I might try to put him in 9 positions in one game. 1-1.
Yeah, that's amazing. Those guys that can just play all over the field and just, they take the assignment, they take it in stride and say, all right, this is where I'm playing tonight.
Dorian Gonzalez has kind of filled that position as well. Pops it up, left side of the infield. Vastine onto the outfield grass, gives way to the left fielder Peterson. And it's an F7, a very quick inning for Smith. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Let's roll along for Polar Park here on NESN Plus.
Well, what a joy this has been to welcome in the broadcasters on both sides. We go back to the Bourne side to Cam Manna of Ithaca College. Cam, take it away.
Thank you so much for having us. Joe Schutte now on the mound for the Gatemen. His first appearance this summer for the Gatemen out of Marist here in the top of the 5th inning. Bourne and Wareham, what a night from Polar Park. A 4-0 lead so far for Bourne. And Joe, so far in this season, both of these squads, a 3-2 Gatemen lead in the series, but all the games have been close. The Gatemen looking for a comeback so far, but that's been their magic. They've had some late offensive comebacks against Bourne so far this summer.
Yeah, they've showed some fight against Bourne. You mentioned it, that the Gatemen lead the series this season 3-2. And you look back at that doubleheader that was played a week ago where the Gatemen lose game 1, they win game 2. So they do have some fight, and it's something we've talked about all night. The Gatemen are not going to be in the playoffs, but there's still a lot to play for individually for these guys the rest of the way.
His first pitch to Bryce Eblin's outside. And the Gatemen taking down Katuitt last night in a 5-4 thriller. That's the top team in the West Division. So they've shown they can play baseball. It's just coming together here in some meaningless baseball late in the year. 1-0 to Evelyn. This one's flown out of play. That 7-inning doubleheader too, and we talked about it pregame. That first game was probably the longest 7-inning baseball game I've been a part of. I think it got up to probably the 2-hour and 50-minute mark for 7 innings. But the pitch clock also plays a part, and that one just a little bit longer than usual. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Evelyn a drive towards the alley in left center field, down for a base hit. Evelyn came into the game with a 12-game hit streak, makes it 13. His second hit tonight.
Yeah, it's incredible what Eblin's been able to do recently. He's just been such a consistent hitter. You know, you have him and Bender in the lineup back-to-back, two guys that are hitting 350 or better coming into tonight. And Evelyn doing a nice job just going opposite way and stroking it in for a base hit.
He's been a single machine, only 2 doubles on his summer. Gives way to Derek Bender. Leads the league in average. Ground ball at shortstop could be 2. Cologne a flip to second for 1. Caulfield to throw to first base. It's in time. A silky smooth 6-4-3. And a quick 2 outs now here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, that's one way to erase a leadoff single. Getting Bender, one of the best hitters in the league this year, to bounce into a 6-4-3 double play. This was a little bit in on the hands with a fastball and nicely turned by the Wareham infield.
Cologne had a tough first inning, but bouncing back here has the only hit of the night so far for the Gatemen. Kendall Diggs now digs in. First pitch, called strike. Diggs a guy, Sports Center top 10. I'm not sure if you've seen it. He's made 2 plays in right field. Fabulous with the glove. This one a ground ball at second base. Caulfield charging in. Picks it up, fires to first, and it's in time. An unconventional 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 5th from Polar Park. A quick one here. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th here at Polar Park, and it's been a good one so far. We'll have more coming up here on NESN Plus.
The string of great young broadcasters continue. Jack Hunter, one of the play-by-play broadcasters for the Wareham Gatemen of Washington and Lee University, now joins us in the booth. This has been a fun game so far, Jack. And, you know, you look at the final line for Will Koger, you know, he ends up giving up 4 runs, but there was a lot of strikeout stuff that we saw from him.
Yeah, Will Koger's an explosive pitcher. He's working with a fastball, curveball, as you saw there. He's got a nasty slider and a changeup as well. And strikeouts were the biggest absence from his outing earlier last week versus Orleans. So to see him get it back today, get 6 of them, was great as Jimmy Brennan steps in and swings through strike 1. Final line on Will, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs. 2 of them were charged as earned, 1 walk and 6 strikeouts for the Louisville Cardinal as Jimmy Brennan punches one into right field for a base hit to get us started here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The man from Post University getting one on the outside corner and poking it through to right.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit before, but he is one of the best stories, I think, on this Wareham team. A Division II guy that's getting some run here in the Cape League. Doing a nice job going opposite field with that swing and punching a base hit.
Here's Yadi Hernandez, the catcher in the 8-hole. First pitch to a misses high from Tristan Smith. Smith went 7 1/3 innings against the Gatemen combined between his last start last week against the Gatemen and today without giving up a hit to Wareham. The Gatemen have now tagged him for 2 hits.
Boy, we see how hard he is to hit, though, with you know what he's done tonight. You know, he does 4 strikeouts, but that just being the second hit, that one from Brennan.
Hernandez skies it out of play to even the count. Yadi Hernandez will be going to the University of Missouri next year in the SEC after playing a few years at Seton Hall. He's a catcher in his blood. His mom is cousins with the Molina brothers. Yes, those Molina brothers, as he takes one outside.
Always thought about, imagine growing up near that family and you're a pitcher with Benji, Jose, and Yadi, you know, all being able to catch. It's just an incredible family. And the lineage now, of course, extending to Hernandez now.
And now Hernandez has a hitter's count as Smith misses outside with the fastball. Tristan Smith threw 4+. The Gatemen yet to get a run up on the board. It's been a great week for the Gatemen offense, but not tonight, as Hernandez cracks it foul. First base umpire Alan Lee Bardoni is going to wave his hands up, blow it dead. Hernandez, one of 3 catchers on this current roster. Jimmy Brennan, one of the other ones, is on first base and playing right field today. Renee Lastris, the other one. Jimmy Brennan, they need to get his bat in the lineup, so they asked him, hey, can you play right field? He told me he had only played right field 1 game in his whole life, and it was the last game of his college season this year at Post. But he hasn't made an error yet in right field so far in his stint back here with the Gatemen, after being on the team for the first 5 days of the season.
Yeah, that's a guy just hungry to play baseball. And now he's 6 for 15 with the Gatemen after the single to lead off this bottom of the 5th inning.
Payoff pitch coming to Hernandez, and he cuts and misses. A beautiful changeup from Tristan Smith retires Yachty for the first out.
It has just been impressive to see the way Tristan Smith has settled into this game after a shaky start to the bottom of the 1st inning. There's the changeup from the southpaw. So we've seen the blazing fastball. He goes to the change this time to get Hernandez, but he walks the first 2 guys in the bottom of the 1st inning on a combined 9 pitches, settles in right after that, and now he's locked in. He's gone through 4 1/3 innings and has now racked up 5 Ks.
Will now face Josh Stevenson from the 9-hole, who shows bunt. He gets away from Bender. Brennan, with a good secondary lead, will jump and take second. So that's just the 2nd runner in scoring position for the Gatemen tonight. The first one was in the 1st inning off of one of those walks, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the Gatemen will take getting a runner in scoring position any which way they can at this moment. Down by 4, bottom of the 5th inning against a nasty pitcher.
Stevenson 0 for 1. A little late on the fastball, and sends it foul out of play left side. Josh Stevenson, another guy that's was in the transfer portal and has now found a new home for next year. He's going to Ohio State University. Excited about the opportunities to play in center field, or at least play in the outfield on a more everyday basis after being buried in the depth chart this past year at LSU. And he chops one near the visiting on, or the home on deck circle here today. The Gatemen usually in the 3rd base dugout at Spillane Field, over there in what is their home dugout today on the 1st base side.
Different spot, but still a cool opportunity for all these guys to get a chance to play at a AAA park. I'm sure they've enjoyed being at Spillane Field this entire season, being a part of this Wareham team that is rich in tradition.
And Stevenson cuts and misses at the slider. So Smith is pulling out all the stops. He gets a strikeout on the changeup to Hernandez here against the lefty. He goes with the breaking ball for the 2nd out.
Just another nasty pitch from Smith. Yeah, breaking ball low and away, and Stevenson can't get the bat to it. It'll be interesting for Stevenson next year. You get an opportunity, you enter the transfer portal, you find a new home to get more playing time. As you mentioned, buried in the depth chart with an LSU team that just so happened to win the College World Series.
First pitch to the leadoff hitter, J.C. Cologne, misses low. And Smith is a guy that has a lot to gain by being here at the Cape, just finishing his freshman year at Clemson in mostly a bullpen role. He's getting a lot more innings, getting a lot more comfortable here this summer, but the strikeout stuff has always been there. And he gets Cologne to swing and miss. He struck out almost 30% of the hitters he faced in his freshman year at Clemson, pitched to a 4.55 ERA, and is here lighting things up at the Cape. The Gatemen helped to that ERA total last Monday, but it's down under 2 after a strong start today, or at least to this point. J.C. Cologne has reached base twice today. He's now hit safely in 8 out of his last 9 games. And after struggling offensively for most of the season, has jumped his batting average 70 points in that span. And he sees it inside. He's got a hitter's count.
That's a good take there from Cologne. Fastball very close, inner half. It just misses a little low.
The Gatemen looking to get across for the first time tonight from Polar Park. And Cologne will move the line, takes it inside. He'll get rid of the shin guard and trot to first.
That was a nice at-bat there from Cologne. Took a couple of close pitches. That one a little too far inside. He wasn't going to swing at it, but he was able to work the count in his favor. And this is the one thing for Smith moving forward, just honing in the fastball. We've seen him miss a couple times tonight with that. Now it's 3 walks through 4 2/3 innings.
So Scott Landers, the second-year manager for the Bourne Braves, who also serves as their de facto pitching coach, comes out to the mounds. You can never really tell whether he's either going to the bullpen, because a lot of times even when he does, he makes a late signal to the bullpen. So the former Brewster Whitecaps pitching coach for 2 seasons, the head coach here for Bourne, but dealing with the pitchers, he makes the slow walk back to the visiting third base dugout. Now Garen Caulfield comes to the plate looking for his first hit of the night. If he can get it, Wareham probably will be on the board. And he looks at a breaking ball low and in.
And you have a guy at Caulfield who's been one of the more consistent hitters that the Gatemen have had this year. 306 average coming in.
3 knocks yesterday. He's back up over 300. He's had 7 multi-hit games this year. And he fouls it back to the screen.
Yeah, right on the fastball there from Smith. And here is the situation now where the Gatemen are seeing Smith 3rd time around. They may be able to track him a little bit better this go around.
It's been a great season series between these 2 teams. It comes to an end tonight. Wareham holding on to a 3-2 lead right now in this series. Caulfield waits back on the slider and punches it back up near our broadcast booth just to the right of here.
Thought that one may have had a chance to go into the Gatemen broadcast booth.
My broadcast partner Aiden's window is open, so a foul ball does have a good shot of getting through there. Swing and a miss. Tristan Smith strikes out the side here in the bottom of the 5th. The Gatemen get 1 hit up on the board, and they leave 2 stranded, no Bourne errors. We now go to the 6th, 4-0 Bourne.
We're back here at Fuller Park with the do-it-all Amanda Foster of Indiana University. She's also one of the broadcasters for the Wareham Gatemen. She's a play-by-play broadcaster, also the beat reporter, and also the sideline reporter. And she has us here in the top of the 6th inning. Amanda, thanks for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be up here. New Contradas getting things going for Bourne here in the top of the 6th inning. Bourne leads 4-0. Takes the inside pitch from Nate Chudy for a ball. Count 1-2. Fouled back right side. Contradas stays alive. Contradas out of Arizona State. And the pitch from Chudy comes in high. Evens up the count at 2-2.
It's cool for Nate Chudy on the mound. He's with Marist now, but was with Holy Cross, so back in Worcester pitching.
And a teammate in Bayram Hot, Marist, also with the Gatemen. Hot came in just about a week ago. Chudy just came in a few days ago. Nice for them to be able to be on the same team for a little bit this summer as well.
Bayram Hot, that is an all-time baseball name.
It's a fantastic name. He's from New York, too. You know, you read it and you think maybe a Southern guy, but New York through and through. Liner out to right center. Going back is Garen Caulfield. He'll drop behind his glove. And Contradas comes in safely as Caulfield just seemed to misread that one a little bit, and Jimmy Brennan out in right field, Bobby Bozer in center, and maybe a little bit of lack of communication between the trio there.
Yeah, maybe a little lack of communication, and then on top of that, just hit into no man's land. It's a tough play for really everybody involved. Caulfield and Brennan out there in right field. We know Brennan is a natural catcher as well, so he doesn't take control on it, but Caulfield probably the closest to it, and as you can see, he's backpedaling, then he turns his shoulders and just can't get the glove to the baseball.
Gary Michelle now standing in the lefty against Chudy, and Brennan, when he has played in the outfield at school, typically plays in left field, so not even right. He's comfortable in both, he told me, but a little bit more comfortable out in left. Skied out, once again a bit into no man's land, but ranging over is Stevenson. Easily makes the grab on that one for the first out of the inning.
And as Amanda's bringing us the play-by-play, I have one of her articles in front of me as we take a look at that last pitch from Chudy. Good fastball up and away. And Michelle, a very talented hitter out of Virginia Tech, put together a great freshman season, just gets under it. Easy play for Stevenson and left. But you wrote a great article about Jimmy Brennan and
thank you.
his time in Division II with Post, but starting the season with the Gatemen, and then he's off the roster, and then he comes back just to round it out for the rest of the year. And you know, a guy like that's thrilled to be here.
Oh, absolutely, and he's very close with the hitting coach, Mike Mobbs. Mobbs has been coaching Brennan since he was about 8 years old. The two have developed a very strong chemistry. You've got to think that plays a big part in why Brennan is back, but he's also the type of player that has really got the right mentality that the Wareham team is trying to have. Basically grittiness is the way that they've described it, and Brennan is somebody that just goes out and plays hard every single day, and Ryan Smythe wanted that, even if it was just for the last week of the season. Pitch into Harrelson, the second pitch of his at bat, both balls coming from Chudy, and Chudy making his first appearance for the Gatemen. You gotta wonder if maybe there are a little bit of nerves for him, especially playing at a place like Polar Park. It's a big atmosphere to come into. Called for a strike on the inside part of the plate.
Without a doubt, it's your first opportunity to pitch in the Cape League, and then on top of that, you're pitching in a glorious ballpark like Polar Park. I'm sure there's a lot going through his mind right now. Pitched a good top of the fifth inning, though, posted a 0.
Big double play coming in clutch there. Yadi Hernandez fires down to the second base, and the tag from J.C. Coloni got him. It's a future Mizzou connection right there for you. Yadi Hernandez announcing his transfer from Seton Hall, and the two have become relatively close throughout the season. They've got a very good chemistry. You can see on the replay, too. Hernandez just incredibly fast reflexes, and Cologne gets over there just in time.
And Mizzou Tiger fans, take a look at the arm you're getting behind home plate. That was a perfect throw down to second base to get Contradas out.
Hernandez, a relative of the Molina brothers as well. Everyone calls him Yadi. It's not because he's related to Yadi Molina. That was just how it worked. But regardless, there's maybe a little bit in the genetics. Harrelson heads down to first base on a walk. Very neat to just talk to all these guys and learn about. Yadi and I had a 25-minute conversation before a game one day, just talking about his entire life growing up, going to Seton Hall, his relatives and all that, and then you go out and you get to see him. It's very neat.
And you couldn't think of anybody better to learn the catcher position from those three guys. I mean, all of them were good defensively. I think, you know, people would say Yadi Molina was the best of the three, but they all brought a lot to the table behind home plate. And what was neat about all three of them, Yadi, Jose, and Benji, they all won a World Series.
Absolutely.
And Benji and Jose actually won one together with the Angels.
And Yadi Hernandez he told me, closest with Benji. He's a very big mentality guy, Yadi is, and so Benji is the one that has been able to tell him, just keep things simple, stay focused. And you see his arm there once again, throwing down to first base, another good pick. Harrelson comes back in safe, but he's an incredibly hard worker, very big into staying focused and just getting the job done. Pitch into Peterson. Make it a 2-1 count.
And I think they're going to say it's a balk for Chudy. So that'll allow Harrelson to get to second. But listen, could be no harm, no foul for Chudy, right? You get the next batter out, you get out of the inning posting another 0.
It's about all you can ask for, and you want to do it against a guy like Peterson. You don't want his speed to get on base. Fouled back over the right side. So a 2-2 count. Runner in scoring position, but like you said, could be no harm, no foul. And the key for the Gatemen, just get out of this one. Don't let any runs cross the plate. Try to get back up to the plate and get something going against Tristan Smith, who's been dealing. Pitch comes in low.
And you wonder how long Tristan Smith, goes the rest here. He's gotten 5 innings under his belt. All the coaching staffs and really every Cape League team, they want to make sure they're taking care of all these guys. But you're right, he's been great.
Haven't seen a whole lot of pitchers go too high over 70 pitches, so we'll see when we come back. But Peterson heads down to first base with a walk. So runners on first and second now for the top of the order. And Jonathan Vastine got 2 strikeouts and an RBI single to his name in his 3 plate appearances so far tonight.
And for Wareham, there's nobody warming up in their bullpen, so this is Chudy's inning here.
One thing with the Gatemen pitchers, once they come in, the coaches typically want them to be able to eat a couple innings, especially at this point. Why would you take a guy like Chudy out, give him the chance to kind of prove himself a little bit more, try to get the juices flowing, if you will, give him the experience, if nothing else. 1-0 comes in outside. This is the Cape League is unique in itself as well, because you have catchers and pitchers playing together who haven't ever interacted before. Chudy and Hernandez, if they haven't caught in a bullpen, they've never interacted before just this moment. So you've got a little bit of adjusting to do in that aspect as well.
And you think of the adjusting just for the team as they end the season here. We know the Gatemen aren't making the playoffs, but you want to finish the season strong, and this league is about development. But you have a lot of new faces here at the end of the year.
Pitch comes in high and outside once again, a 3-0 count. We just saw Ryan Smythe on the screen. He's been the coach that has been calling the pitches for the majority of the season. Not sure if he's doing it today, but that's typically been you see him talking on his walkie there. He's communicating with Hernandez behind the plate. There's first pitch in for a strike. And not sure how many Cape League teams have their field manager, head coach, whatever you want to call it, calling those shots, but Smythe likes to do it, and he's got a very good rapport with Hernandez, especially behind the plate. Runner goes. Fouled back into the net, so Harrelson will have to make the trot back to second base. A 3-2 count, so Chudy close to getting out of this one, but Vastine also close to possibly reaching base. Payoff pitch. Liner out, ranging into Stevenson will make the grab quite easily, and the Gatemen retire the Braves, not allowing any more runs to cross the board. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th here in just a moment.
Well, the day is done for Tristan Smith of Bourne, and what an outing for the southpaw out of Clemson. He ends up striking out 7 batters through 5 strong innings of work. He also limits the damage offensively from Wareham. He allows just 2 hits. The control at times was iffy, but really only in the first inning. And after that, Cooper, he settled down.
I mean, he walked the first 2 guys he faced, 8 balls on his first 9 pitches. You got to look at Brady Aftham on for his 9th time this summer. But from the side of Smith, I mean, man, he walks first 2 guys, you're thinking, uh-oh, and then all of a sudden sets down 7 in a row, and that was really just the beginning of the night strikeout-wise. I think from Wareham's perspective, as you go to a bottom of the 6th inning and only having 2 hits to this point off the starter Smith, you're just looking for a little bit of something or anything.
So now they turn to the UConn product in Atham. Coming off his sophomore campaign. 6-foot right-hander, rocks and fires. First pitch is in there for a strike. So Tristan Smith, again, 5 innings pitched for him. He struck out the side of the 5th inning. He worked around a single and a walk in that frame. 0-1, bounce to the left side. Good play by the third baseman, Eblin, and he throws to first in time. 1 out.
It's just a completely different look, right? You had Smith kind of coming at you from a 3/4 left hand, a lot of balls down in the zone, and now you're getting a good little sinker with some run out of the right hand, right around 90-91, out of that great UConn program that's become maybe the best in this region, really taking a stranglehold on that over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 years under Jim Penders.
Yeah, what a job Penders has done. They were regional champs a season ago. This season, they were the regular season conference champions in the Big East. Here's Grant Hussey, swings and misses, counted 0-1. the Northeast actually had a really good collegiate baseball year. Northeastern made the NCAA tournament. Boston College made the NCAA tournament. Central Connecticut also made the tournament as well.
Look, it's good for cold baseball, you know? Good for the Northeast. Well, you know, the truth is that you can, we've seen this, the way development has skyrocketed over the last 5-10 years. These guys in the Northeast that, previously couldn't, maybe play baseball year round like the California and Texas kids.
As he pops this up, foul third base way. Long run for Eblin. He sheds the hat. It goes into the bullpen.
The way that, those kids really weren't getting significant, opportunity to play year round. Well, now there are so many ways you can get better.
And you look at a program like Boston College. They built the Pete Frady Center so that they can practice indoors during the cold winter months. Line foul down the first base way. And, I think what these Northeast teams did are even more impressive when you think about the cold weather aspect and the fact that a lot of the teams are starting off their season on the road for a significant amount of time.
You're absolutely right, and you've lived it, right? Like a month of not being home essentially and still having to be a student and do all those things. Crazy.
Hit off the end of the bat, slow roller to second. Grower fields and throws to first in time, 2 outs.
Oh, you can see this, the sinker's outstanding. I mean, look at the run on that. He starts that, it's Clay Holmes-esque. Starts it at the hip and moves it in. That's best sinker in baseball, major league level. That's very simple. You throw it at the hitter, and then all of a sudden, you realize that it's about to come back over the plate. You try to get it out there, and you end up with contact that sounds like that tests the limits of whether the bat can hold up.
Here's Bobby Bozer up at the plate, right-handed hitter. For the USF Bull fouls it back, counted 0-1. Cool story from Amanda Foster, who you just heard give us the play-by-play in the top of the 6th inning. I mentioned she's the play-by-play broadcaster, one of them for the Gatemen. She's also the sideline reporter and beat reporter. She wrote a story about Bozer and how he was called about how he was going to play in the Cape League and the invitation to play in the Cape League. And he missed it because he was working on his swing in the batting cages, and he locked his keys in the trunk of his car. His phone was dead, so he didn't even know he had the call until he looked at it and said that he had calls from 8 people that day, and then he ended up calling them back at 10 at night.
Yeah, no, you didn't give my spot away? Oh, okay, thank you.
1-2. Atham delivers. Popped up foul behind home plate.
That's wild. I wonder, but I wonder, has that ever happened where they've just moved on and they said, oh, sorry, like you missed your chance?
Well, I know people in this region remember him well. Jonas Gray of the Patriots. He had a 4-touchdown game, and then he missed a practice or was late to a practice because his phone wasn't charged. So the alarm didn't go off, and of course that doesn't go over well with Bill Belichick. So no, it's not a baseball reference, but that's the first that comes to mind. 2-2. Popped up foul, first base way out of play. Can you just imagine missing an alarm and being late to a practice that is run by Bill Belichick?
Being late for Bill Belichick? I'm afraid as you tell me the story.
But fortunately for Bozer, that wasn't the case. He missed the calls, but of course he's played the season here with the Gatemen. Counts at 2-2 on him. It's outside, counted 3-2. Atham, a product of Maine, and as Cooper and I mentioned, he pitched for UConn. Now has spent 2 years with the Huskies. Last year, a 3.91 ERA in 25 1/3 innings. That is low, ball 4, so good job by Bozer to work a walk. He came into the day with an on-base percentage just shy of 400. So he's got a great eye, and he works a 2-out walk.
Yeah, that's not easy. I know that pitch, when we look at the replay, it looks like it's ankle high, but I promise you for about half the way on the way in, it is most certainly not.
So here's Dorian Gonzalez. University of Miami product, swings and misses. Nothing in one, the count.
It's an interesting moment for Ryan Smythe and the Gatemen. Do you send the runner from first? Try to get yourself a run, get it cheaply, or do you wait? You let Gonzalez swing the bat down by 4.
He goes 0-1, bounce to first. Right there is the first baseman, Contradas, and he takes it to the bag himself. Another 0 for a Bourne pitcher. We're through 6. Braves have a 4-0 lead over the Gatemen here on NESN Plus. Back here at Polar Park, here in the top of the 7th inning, Bourne has a 4-0 lead over the Wareham Gatemen. Pitch black sky above. Gorgeous night in Worcester. Yeah, the first pitch to Joshua Grauer is a strike. Joe Weil alongside Cooper Boardman. I'd say the 6th and 7th most talented broadcasters on the broadcast today.
It might be 7, 8. I don't even know how it's possible. Like, I feel like they might, the kids might be occupying a couple of spots.
I want to give a shout out to the 5 broadcasters we had on the airwaves today as Kuroda Grauer lines a single into right center field. His first hit of the night off Nate Chudy, who's in his 3rd inning of work. So 1 on, nobody out. It's Bryce Eblin who will step in. But how about the job done by the Wareham and Bourne broadcasters today as we take another look at the single from Kuroda Grauer.
You talk about the stars of tomorrow shining tonight on the baseball field. These kids, think about it this way. You got kids from all over the country that have come, and a lot of them have paid their own way to come watch baseball and call baseball and get better at it and dream of doing it at the minor and major league level. Just the way that these players are. And, you and I were both in it, and certainly we know what it all entails and everything, but it's so fun to meet people who are having the time of their lives right now. And for so many of them, it's the best summer of their life to this point. It might be the best summer of my life.
Eblin lines one hard to second, under the glove of Caulfield and into right center field. Kuroda Grauer moves to 3rd. Eblin with his 3rd hit of the night. He continues to rake. And now the Braves have runners at the corners with nobody out.
Yeah, this is 92. He just turns right around on it, stays down on it. Good flat swing, and it was rocketed. Caulfield, that's a hard one to get in front of, no doubt. Maybe wanted to see him at least try to get a glove on it, but these are hops that maybe he's not used to on a field this nice.
So here's Derek Bender up. 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. First pitch low and away, ball 1. Just want to give a shout out to the 5 broadcasters that we had.
Yeah.
Matt Scalzo of Penn State, Aiden Blanc of ASU, Arizona State University, Cam Manna of Ithaca, he's with Bourne, Jack Hunter of William and Lee University, and then Amanda Foster of Indiana University. Matt Scalzo and Cam Manna, they were with Bourne, Aiden Blanc, Jack Hunter, and Amanda Foster with Wareham. And it was such an honor to have all those guys on the broadcast. You and I both were in that spot at one point in time as this is lined up the middle, off the glove of Chudy. Could be 2. Out at 2nd, out at 1st. Run comes in to score. It's now 5-0 Bourne.
You and I know just how much fun it is. That's the thing. You wake up every day on Cape Cod, except if you're Wareham, and everybody, you get that opportunity to do the baseball, but also enjoy everything that the Cape League and Cape Cod have to offer.
I just remember the feeling at the time it was Fox College Sports, now with NESN here for Cape Cod League Baseball, and just that opportunity to hop on a broadcast like this, the nerves going into it, but all 5 of them killed it.
Well, yeah, one of them turned to me and goes, I'm nervous for this. I was like, you're going to be fine. And then he did it. He didn't sound nervous at all.
None of them did. And all of them came with so much information about the players, and that's what's so neat is these guys have covered these teams all year long. They really know the ins and outs of the players. As Kendall Diggs takes one upstairs, counted 3-0. And I look forward to seeing where all 5 of their careers go from this point. That's upstairs, ball 4. 4-pitch walk for Nate Chudy, who is in his 3rd inning of work. He posted zeros in the 5th and 6th, but he's given up a run here in the 7th. And now a runner at first with 2 outs for new Contradas.
Feels like a big, big run in this inning already for the Bourne Braves. 5 spot, Wareham on 1 spot, on 1 side only has a couple of hits.
The Hawaiian native 2 for 3 as he pops it up shallow left toward the line. Stevenson is there, and he makes the catch. That'll end the inning. But Bourne scratches across another. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch. Braves lead 5-0 over the Gatemen here at Polar Park. Full moon above on a gorgeous night in Worcester. Bourne has a 5-0 lead over the Wareham Gatemen in the Cape Cod Classic. Time is starting to run out on the Gatemen. First pitch comes home to Jimmy Brennan, and that's low and outside for ball 1. Brady Atham back on the hill. Second inning of work, the Yukon product. Posted a scoreless bottom of the 6th inning. That's in there for a strike to Brennan. Brennan also playing for a Connecticut university, post-university, Division II school. 1-1, just outside.
I believe they've got a beautiful new baseball field at Post University last few years. Great turf over there.
Inside count at 3-1. And a guy like Brennan, Division II player, started the Cape Cod League season with Wareham, then was off the roster, now back on it. Playing right field today, as that swung on a miss, count at 3-2. This is a guy that's a catcher at post, but you know, love of the game, wanting to get out there and join this team at the end of the season. Thrilled to be out there playing the outfield.
Well, you never know that, you know, what you can show.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Atham blows it by him. That's his first strikeout.
I always think about, talk about a former Chatham angler, Josiah Gray, who was a shortstop at Lemoyne College, Division II, Lemoyne College in the NE10. He was a shortstop, and you're like, wow, he throws pretty hard. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna put him on the mat. He threw 98, got drafted in the top 5 rounds, and now he's on the Nationals.
This beautiful game, sometimes it just shakes out that way. It's amazing, some of the stories, how guys get to the big leagues, and it just takes somebody pointing something out, seeing something, and maybe it's altering positions. The Red Sox had that with Kenley Jansen, guy that had a gun behind the plate, couldn't hit. They figure, okay, put him on the mound, and now he's an all-star closer.
Yeah, it worked out all right for him, I'd say. That's the thing, and these guys are so athletic. It's a great thing about the Cape League in particular. How talented, just extraordinary athletes beyond anything else.
Hernandez bounces it to second. Great play in the hole by the second baseman, Kuroda Growler, and he throws to first in time. What a play, 2 outs.
This is not easy. This is a great understanding of how this is going to come off the bat, that with the right-hand bat, it's going to tail back towards you. Takes a nice little angle after the 1 hop right there. And then no panic on the throw. That's what's impressive. Understanding you have time to set your feet and make a good throw. That is a really nice play by the man from Rutgers.
This Bourne team, they've played some really good defense. Here's Stevenson bouncing it up the middle. The shortstop, Bastine, behind the bag, throws to first in time. Silky smooth defense from the Bourne Braves. Postseason bound, we go to the 8th. Bourne on top 5-0 over the Gatemen in the Cape Cod Classic.
The Bourne Braves coming to bat with a 5-0 lead. They say it, the stars of tomorrow shine tonight. All those guys in the dugout hoping that maybe their name will be on that list at some point. They look pretty locked in, so, that's good. As we go to the 8th inning, and Garrett Michelle leads it off. Right-hander Nate Chudy back out there for another inning of work. Tall guy, Nate Chudy. He's got the longest pants in the Cape League.
Now, big guy, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. Former Holy Cross Crusader back in Worcester.
This one's hammered right off the bat of Michelle. That's destined for the gap on a bounce all the way to the wall. A turnaround second for Michelle. Relay throw is not in time. The longest swing of the night is a triple for Virginia Tech's Garrett Michelle. Leads off the 8th.
And Michelle now 2 for 4 on the night. Just hit it to the perfect spot to get extra bases and get to third. But this guy is just so talented. Virginia Tech has a star here in Michelle. Hits it into the gap in right center field. Bozer tries to track it down. He can't cut it off, and once it hits the wall, it's trouble
10th hit of Bourne's night as Gage Harrelson takes outside. So yeah, the RBI back in the second. Michelle's got the triple here in the 8th inning. And Bourne on a night where it's really been about their offense and their pitching has a chance for a 6th run. Texas Tech's Gage Harrelson in the box.
And you can see why they're going to be a dangerous team come playoff time. They have a formula.
Fly ball down the left field line, foul again. I mean, that ball was crushed. These ballparks on the Cape League, YD is very small. Chatham is certainly gettable out towards right center. Harwich very similar. Orleans is gigantic, though not to right field. From the Western Division's perspective, Wareham certainly gettable in right center. That's a ball that in a lot of Cape League ballparks really does have a chance to get out of here. It's just AAA sized. It's a good swing. You can almost see after the swing. Michelle hit it, and he was like, oh, this might have a chance to get out. And as upon looking up, realized that no, maybe I get 3 out of it, though. Judy's given up 1, looking to get out of this on another flare. We'll do another 3-2 pitch to Harrelson. Judy's still throwing hard, though. This is about to be his 56th pitch. He's essentially come out of the bullpen and pitched like a starter. 3 balls and 2 strikes, a man on third. Got him. Sinker with some bite. That is step number 1 complete here in this 8th inning.
Yeah, big out here in the top of the 8th inning. If the Gatemen are going to make a comeback, getting out of this inning would obviously be a big lift. And as you just said, Cooper, 1 big step toward doing so.
Iowa's Sam Peterson, who struck out, grounded out to third, and walked. Leadoff triple by Garrett Michelle has Bourne in the lead 5-0. Some action in Wareham's pen down the right field line on a 10-hit night for the Bourne Braves. And a walk to Peterson wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Put the double play in order, but and you put Peterson, his outstanding speed, and his bright yellow cleats on base. And Peterson wants the RBI. It's 3-1.
Yeah, how about those yellow cleats?
Well, he's got the Iowa, I guess they got helmet stickers, right? That must be it. Wow, he's got more helmet. He must be the best guy on the team. Inside ball 4. Usually get a helmet sticker for doing nice things. So he must always hold the door open for somebody or something. He's got so many. And he's worked a 1-out walk. And with men on the corners, a mound meeting and perhaps the final pitch of the day thrown by Nate Schutte. We'll see if it's a conversation or if it's a pull. Looks like it's a conversation, at least in this moment here in the 8th inning, on a day where it's been entertaining. Bourne got up early, the infield RBI single. The RBI double by Contreras in the 3rd inning. Probably the hardest hit ball of the day until the triple moments ago from Garrett Michelle out of Virginia Tech. Cape Cod Classic here on a Monday night in late July with Joe Weil, Cooper Boardman. Big thanks to our whole crew. You know, the peek behind the curtain is we just finished a long homestand here at Polar Park, and everybody's right back in here ready to go, doing an awesome job tonight for you. As this pitch is slammed in the air, center field, long run. Harrelson makes the catch, and that will score a run. A sac fly for Jonathan Vastine, and it's 6-0.
Vastine just getting the job done, bringing home the run, lifting it out to left center field. So a productive day in the leadoff spot for Vastine. He ends up going 1 for 4, sac fly there. One of many Vanderbilt products in the Cape League. It is amazing the representation for the Commodores in this league. They have players, as he goes here,
Safe. Wow. Sam Peterson. I think the yellow cleats had something to do with it.
So Peterson swipes second base. Just to finish the thought on the Commodores. So they have, going into this year, 3 players on the Braves from Vanderbilt. 1 on Brewster, 1 on Chatham, 3 on Orleans, and then 2 more on Whitey.
Wow. Yeah. They've always had a great connection with the Cape, particularly with Orleans. I was talking with Steven Scott, who's on the Woo Sox now in AAA, about Vandy, and we were just talking about what it's like to be in the environment, because it's such an extraordinarily competitive environment where all those guys you just said, and what was the number? I mean, 8, 9, 10 guys, right, in the league. You know, a lot of those guys didn't play in the spring. Right back to Chudy. And the inning over on a nice play by Chudy to end the 8th inning. Bourne, though, gets one. The sac fly by Vastine. Wareham coming to bat in the 8th. Well, on a night where the Cape Cod Baseball League is being celebrated in a Red Sox minor league ballpark, a guy that many Red Sox fans know very well. 2013 World Series champion Jared Saltalamacchia. It's a wonder we fit him on that graphic, Joe.
Who could forget the long last name, the way it stretches all around the back of the jersey when he played in the major leagues. But yeah, it's just so cool to see him in this capacity. Of course, rich history in this region, as you mentioned, being a part of that 2013 team that won a World Series with the Red Sox. Yeah, what a career he had. It spanned a couple different teams. He started off with the Braves and the Rangers and the Red Sox, Marlins, D-backs, Tigers, Blue Jays, and then finished it out with the Tigers as well.
His Bourne Braves with a 6-0 lead. And they're going to the bullpen again. Third man to pitch is Anthony Figueroa out of Nova Southeastern, one of the great D2 schools in the country. Just won the D2 men's basketball national championship. They got a good baseball program as well. Alumni including another man the Red Sox fans know very well, J.D. Martinez.
I'd say he was pretty good.
Yeah, it worked out all right. An all-star this year. Not that people really want to talk about that. And Figueroa on to face off with top of the Wareham lineup. Gatemen tonight as we start the bottom of the 8th inning. Wouldn't play Sweet Caroline. It's entirely reasonable, just to be clear. Entering this bottom half of the 8th inning in need of some more hits. Just 2 hits to this point. As Bayram Hot, wow, that is one of the best names in the history of baseball, perhaps. Bayram Hot steps in as a pinch hitter. Maris Red Fox takes over for Justin Colon out of the University of Missouri. Called strike for Figueroa. Crafty left-handers and a first pitch breaking ball to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's the second. Ooh, held the leg up. Perhaps saw it that there is a little bit of rain starting to float its way down here at Polar Park. A light mist. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. The good news is, sometimes we play this game, you got to worry about the AAA team, the quality of the field, and all that. Good news is, Woo Sox aren't back until next Tuesday. Good breaking ball.
Yeah, good pitch there from Figueroa. Bayram Hot, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Rookie of the Year with Marist. Second time in program history that they've had a Rookie of the Year in the conference, but all-time name, as you mentioned, Cooper.
Two-way guy. On the ground right side. Oh, that jumped off of the second baseman, Karuta Grauer, and into right field. And it is probably the first time all night that he and the Bourne Braves have made a mistake.
So he gets it off the end of the bat, dribbles it to the right side. And Karuta Grauer, he's played some really good defense today. That one just came up on him and ate him up.
So now Kansas's Michael Brooks. Another pinch hitter. And a first pitch fastball upstairs. Been a tough night for the Gatemen. Been a tough season for the Gatemen. At 15, 24, and 2.
Yeah, the Gatemen and the Anglers both missing out on the playoffs this year.
That was not the Cape League that I was in. Ball gets away. Throw down to second on a turn, and wow, got him. Karuta Grauer made the catch. He was blind to the runner for a moment. Put the tag where it needed to go. It gets Bayram hot.
That was impressive. You know, just all the way around. It gets away from the catcher Bender, and Karuta Grauer with the spin after catching it and making up for the error he just made. This is acrobatic.
Good throw by Bender, too, as this one catches the bottom of the knees. But it's great to have Jared Saltalamacchia back here in Red Sox land. Been with Bourne the last couple of years. At one point, he had the longest name, I believe, in Major League history. He's dropped down to 4th longest. Christian Encarnacion Strand, who made his debut this year, overtook him. But I'll say this. I pulled up the list. Encarnacion Strand, Simeon Woods Richardson, D. Strange Gordon, all ahead of Saltalamacchia. I mean, those are 2 names, all of them pushed together. Some hyphens. Saltalamacchia, the longest continuous name.
Yeah, it's cheating a little bit. The 3 names ahead of Saltalamacchia.
Meager 14 characters. 3-2. And he walked him.
First baseman, number 4, Grant Sheridan, from the University of South Carolina, upstate.
So now it's Grant Sherrod out of South Carolina, upstate. Another one inside.
Brooks is at first base. Cool story. For every hit he had, he donated $20 to the Lawrence Schools Foundation during his season with Kansas. So he had 59 hits. So in the end, he donated $1,180.
Wow. Where is he getting that kind of cash?
I know. It's impressive. So he called it Hits for Teachers, and it came in honor of his mom, Kristen, who is a physical education teacher back in Florida.
That's outstanding. He leads off first with 1 out. Bottom of the 8th inning. 6-0 game. Wareham stuck on 3 hits, looking for a big one. Sharon takes inside 3-0. The Catuit Cavaliers clinched the Western Division champ earlier this year. Earlier tonight, that is, for the year. This, I believe, is the final game in action tonight in the Cape League as Sherrod works a walk. Chatham winners over YD 6-4. Catuit with that win in Brewster 5-4. Hyannis and Falmouth tied. Orleans winners over Harwich by a final score of 2-1. As Figueroa gonna have a conversation with pitching coach Kevin Curtin.
Do you remember the Catuit song during your days?
Oh yeah, hey hey Catuit. Yeah, that was awful.
I wonder if many others would agree with you, myself included.
Well, we got Jacob Cohen who's making the show run tonight, who worked it to it. And he said even for him, it wasn't his favorite thing in the world. I remember my ears bleeding, personally. Reen Lastris is another pinch hitter. And all of a sudden, this game has been, ho-hum for a lot of the night, 6-0, but Lastris, who has a home run on the year on the Cape, has a chance to change the complexion of it. And he took a swing to try to do it out of the University of Florida. When I say Florida, who do you think of?
I think Pete Alonso, because I saw him on the Cape.
Wow.
With the Bourne Braves.
Was he good?
He was good. I don't know if I expected him to set the National League record for home runs type good, but he was good.
Snap throw to first. Not in time.
That's sometimes the fun thing about this league. Sometimes the fun thing about being in minor league baseball is you watch players, you think, okay, they're good. They could turn into a regular big league player. And then sometimes they turn into a superstar.
Yeah. Now the jump that you can take, and really, you're not looking at finished products in this league. You're looking at guys that you feel like project. There's so many. As Figueroa gets a swing and a miss on another good breaking ball. Lastris homered once for Florida in his Gator career. And they go to the big man to try to come through with 2 on and 1 out. Swing and a miss. Got him. So Figueroa, left-hander, going down and in repeatedly to the right-hand hitter. And he gets him there on a dropping breaking ball for out number 2.
That's a good pitch there. Breaking ball, low and in. And with 2 strikes, he gets him swinging.
And so Bobby Boser, with runners off first and second, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, and an inning still to go. Nearly plunked Boser. Been a good night for baseball, but a great season here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. I'm going to Chatham tomorrow. Getting in the car and got a little time off. The Woo Sox on the road. Go take it a Cape League game. Have you been back?
I have. I actually spent a week in Falmouth, of all places, where I broadcast in 2015. It was for my fiance's brother's engagement party. It was actually a joint party. It was a bachelorette party between my fiance's brother's wife, soon-to-be wife. It was a ton of fun. Drove by Gov Fuller Field. Haven't had a chance to check it out. I've taken in a game. I took one in 2021, and the emotions sort of came back and how much I enjoyed my time there broadcasting games and just how much I love the Commodores. I think there might be a birthday gift waiting for me. Commodores sweatshirt.
Wow.
Because my parents were just in Falmouth. I was actually away for a weekend when they stopped in. But they took in a game. They relived the memories of me being there.
Boser walks. Now Dorian Gonzalez. I got to get you. I'll tell you what. I'll get you some Chatham swag, and you get me some Commodore swag.
I will gladly accept that. I was going to ask you, favorite place in Chatham to go outside of the field?
Outside of the Chatham Bars Inn? That's a good question.
Or favorite restaurant?
It's really the Chatham Squire. Best lobster bisque on this earth. Wow, I'm getting everyone around me in our ears. That just set something off in people. That lobster bisque. Wow, I'm going to have that lobster bisque tomorrow. Bases juice, by the way, for Gonzalez. Pitch from Figueroa On a 2-0. That he swings and he hammers in the air down the right field line. Layout attempted, gets by, and this could put a crater-sized hole in Bourne's lead. 3 all the way home on a double by Gonzalez. And how about that? Out of silence, 3 runs for Wareham in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, this may be the hardest hit ball that the Gatemen have hit today. Just drilled down the right field line. Good attempt from Diggs. He almost gets to it, but it just plops right in front of his glove and then trickles to the wall. 3 runs come in to score, and all of a sudden we have ourselves a game.
It's probably a situation where I know you want to make the great play, but the cost-benefit analysis of diving for that is it gets by you 3 score, it drops down in front of you. I guess 2 scores, so you might as well maybe give yourself the chance. But now you're in a situation where if a man gets on, tying run will come to the plate for the Wareham Gatemen.
And this is a situation set up by Figueroa. 3 walks set up the run scoring hit that brings in 3.
So now Brennan. Pitch to Jimmy. Caught on it, missed for strike 3. And a lovely little breaking pitch to finish it off. But it is 3 for Wareham. We go to the 9th, still 6-3 with the Gatemen trailing. Bases loaded, 3 men on. The biggest swing of the day right now for Wareham.
Yeah, from Dorian Gonzalez. Ripped down the right field line. Diggs with a great effort, just couldn't get to it. And the Gatemen blanked through the first 7 innings. They get a little bit of help with 3 walks to set up that 3-run triple. But all of a sudden we have ourselves a game, 6-3 going into the 9th. And the Gatemen throwing out a new pitcher in Quinn Holt, who replaces Nate Chudy.
Big, tall right-hander in the portal right now. And so these are, not only important outings for everybody, but for a guy like this, 6'5", 220, good fastball, kind of a herky-jerky kind of motion, trying to pitch his way to Division I like so many of these guys. And he is set to face off with the heart of the Bourne lineup. Braves, who led 6-0, a game that really Wareham looked mummified over the first 7-8 innings. They load the bases, the triple you just talked about, and now all of a sudden a 6-3 ball game as we go to the 9th inning of the Cape Cod Classic tonight at Polar Park, along with Joe Weil, Cooper Boardman, our great crew tonight. And Bryce Eblin swings first pitch, goes high in the air left side. It'll be 2 All-Stars scheduled. Bryce Eblin out of Alabama first. Derek Bender out of Coastal Carolina second. So they point to Quinn Holt and they say try to get these guys out in the 9th. Good start. It's 0-2.
And another one of these guys in the Gatemen down the stretch, getting some action for the first time in the Cape League this year. Nate Chudy, another one of those guys who pitched 4 innings today. Just a chance to get a look. You heard Cooper just mention it, but a chance to maybe get some eyes on playing Division I ball. And what better place to do it in the Cape League? And he starts off the 9th inning with a 4-3 groundout.
That's a good start to retire Bryce Eblin. These 2 teams with just a few days left in the regular season. Playoff baseball looming for Bourne on this side of the bridge. So every Cape League game in the postseason will be played on this side of the bridge. The other side of the bridge, really, the Cape Cod side. What was your off? Did you on the off day? Was it a beach for you?
It was a beach. I lived pretty close to a beach when I was in Falmouth. I also had to work on the side, make some extra dough. I worked at a deli in Woods Hole, so I got pretty good at making sandwiches.
Sure.
And you mentioned Bourne, and just thinking of the Bourne Bridge, my old cars memorialized on YouTube. We did this segment when I was with Falmouth in 2015 called the Commodore Minute or So. And so my old Honda, I'm in my old Honda talking about the Bourne Bridge as I'm driving on it. Now, the sad part of this story is I ended up totaling that car 5 months later.
No.
But my old purple Honda memorialized forever on YouTube.
Wow. You ever take the Sagamore? I don't think anybody ever has.
No.
I don't even know where that is. It's 2-2. No offense to the Sagamore. Two. That's chop foul. For me, it was mini golf.
I'm thinking of all the people that were offended by that. Oh, just raising their fist, shaking at it, shaking at your comments.
My question is, who cares that much about the Sagamore Bridge that would offend you? Oh, man. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, 1 out. We're in the 9th inning tonight, Polar Park. Derek Bender out of Coastal Carolina takes outside. Now it's 3-2. For me, it was mini golf. Pirates Cove. You guys ever do that?
I don't think we did.
Ooh.
Was that
We gotta get
a
there.
must-do?
I forget if it's Yarmouth or Dennis, but the Whitey Red Sox had a deal at Pirates Cove. And so we would go with all the Whitey Red Sox as Bender singles up the middle. They would take us there. It is the greatest mini golf course that has ever been and ever will be. I'll say it.
So that's a must-do as we take a look at the single there from Bender. First hit of the night for the Cape League's best hitter this year in terms of average. Came in hitting .385. So we have the mini golf, lobster bisque. What's the spot one more time so we all can remember
Chatham
it?
Squire.
Chatham Squire.
They did not pay for this. That's okay.
That's what you get for being very good.
That's true.
What made their lobster bisque stand out more than the average one?
That's a good question. I think the richness of flavor, you know, the quality of the lobster. You know, some lobster you're just kind of chewing and chewing and chewing. Their lobster is fall off the, I guess they don't really have bones. Yeah, they just, you know. Runner goes, throw down a second, well high, skitters off the glove and into center. And Derek Bender, how about the catcher? Running like there's no piano on his back. He's on with 1 down in the scoring position.
That was a good pitch to throw on, too, for Hernandez, who's nabbed a base runner tonight. But Bender, with his speed, able to get into second.
Holt trying to work out of it. 3-1. Ball 4. Another walk. And the Braves once again threatening here in the 9th.
First baseman number 3, Contreras from Arizona State.
I appreciate it because it was live.
New Contreras out of Arizona State takes a slider for a strike. Arizona State's gone through a whole bevy of program changes over the last few years. New coaching staff. It's one of those programs where they believe they should be in the College World Series every single year, and they haven't been.
And a program that is so rich in tradition. You think about Barry Bonds, Dustin Pedroia. Two former league MVPs that played at Arizona State. First two that come to mind for me when I think about that program.
Yeah, Willie Bloomquist is the coach there now. 2 on, a man down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Quinn Holt coming home. And got a chopper towards the right side. Grauer, quick flick. Inning over. Just kidding. 2 down. It's wishful thinking. So 2 down for Garrett Michelle.
Rain still coming down here at Polar Park as we wind down things here. William Bloomquist could be a guy you could use on an immaculate grid. He's played for a couple different teams. Mariners, Royals, Reds, Diamondbacks.
Did you grid today?
I did. I went 8 for 9. I'll tell you which one I screwed up on.
Next inning on a fly ball to left as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Bourne threatens. They get none. Wareham needs 3 to extend. As the rain falls here at Polar Park, we continue to play on through in the Cape Cod Classic. It's the bottom of the 9th inning. The Wareham Gatemen trailed by a score of 6-0. Going into the 8th, they got 3. In the bottom half of their 8th inning, on a bases clearing double by Dorian Gonzalez. And Bourne needs 3 outs. They go to Justin Lowell, the left-hander, on his 5th appearance of the 2023 Cape League season. Justin Lavelle. The Gatemen will have 8, 9, and 1 due up as they try to get 3 and extend this ball game. It's been a fun night here in the Cape Cod Classic. Always great to have the world's best summer collegiate baseball league here at Polar Park. The Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves. Braves will play playoff baseball in the Western Division. For Wareham, this is, for all intents and purposes, their Super Bowl. Certainly feels that way, the way they've come on back here in this 8th inning. And so Lavelle, the left-hander, set to face Yadi Hernandez. 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Seton Hall catcher against the left-hander Lavelle, native of Lake Worth, Florida. And a first pitch strike.
He went to Palm Beach Atlantic University, still goes there. Pretty small undergrad enrollment, approximately 2,800 students go there. Team named the Sailfish.
The Sailfish? What is a sailfish?
Let's look it up.
All right.
So it's one of 2 species of marine fish.
1-1, clap to right. It hangs up though. Diggs makes the catch. And Bourne is 2 outs away.
So it belongs to really a family of marlins. So one notable characteristic is their long bill.
Please tell me more.
That's all I got.
Okay, we've learned about the sailfish tonight on NESN Plus. Corey Morton, the batter now, to the University of Connecticut. UConn Husky with 2 outs to go for the Bourne Braves. 6 runs and 11 hits and a whole bevy of walks for the Bourne Braves. Their pitching has been outstanding. Tristan Smith walked the first 2 and then ultimately struck out what felt like a million. Left-hander out of Clemson. Brady Aftham next. Anthony Figueroa, who gave up just the 3. And now Justin Lavelle on an 0-2 and nearly nabbed the inside corner. A game nearing the 3-hour mark tonight after a 15-minute rain delay. It's been worth the wait. Two balls, 2 strikes. Lavelle got the inside corner, strike 3, 2 down. Lavelle played at the Kings Academy in Florida for Jared Saltalamacchia, who's coaching there. I'd imagine that those 2 things are correlated. Salty on the bench for the Bourne Braves. And with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, it's up to who else but Byram Hott. 0-1.
Good breaking ball there from Lavelle.
Yeah, he's got good capital S stuff. Seen that to this point. Braves led 6-0. Wareham got 3 back, 6-3. Bottom of the 9th inning. The Bourne Braves, with a win tonight, creep back above 500. Get to 21-20-1. If Lavelle can get the final out right here. 1-1. Line foul, 1-2. And the Braves are 1 strike away. Hoping that their bus ride back across the bridge will be a fun one. Braves fans making some noise. 2 down. 1-2. Got him swinging. And the Bourne Braves win the Cape Cod Classic at Polar Park tonight over the Wareham Gatemen by a final score of 6-3. The nation's best summer collegiate league showing why tonight, Joe.
Exactly right, and great pitching from Bourne tonight. Bourne pitchers combined for 12 strikeouts. It's a strikeout that ends it, and outside of a little blip in the bottom of the 8th inning, really dominant stuff from the Braves pitching staff as they pick up a 6-3 win, go back above 500.
It was a fun night tonight at Polar Park. Always a joy when we welcome the Cape Cod Baseball League, the Wareham Gatemen, and the Bourne Braves right here to Polar Park. That'll do it for us here on a Monday night. Gigantic thanks to our great crew sticking through the elements, sticking through the long game tonight, especially after a long homestand. Jacob Cohen leading the way, but everybody back there and out there. More importantly, for Joe Weil here, for all the Cape League broadcasters that joined us here tonight, I'm Cooper Boardman saying so long from Polar Park. The Bourne Braves take the Cape Cod Classic. We'll talk to you next week on NESN Plus here for Woo Sox baseball then here at Polar Park.